And we're live. Hello and welcome to the 56th episode of Game Theory Gang. I'm your host, Matty Allen with Brisology, ChrispyMan of Hexfire.io, and Toby1 Hexobi. Welcome.
Welcome.
Howdy, gentlemen. How's
Happy to be here. Good to be with everyone.
We have a survey in the chat, and it says, would you rather vote for Richard Hart 2028, Richard Hart 2036, or you're not going to vote for Richard Hart? And this is our main topic, so we are going to get into it. But I want to make a little challenge here for the audience, because things have gotten too easy for the audience here, I believe. And part of not burning out as a content creator means letting other people do their part too. So there was a rumor started. I may have started it that I would not shave until PulseChain. And if you read the fine print, that's not what I said. All right. So here's the deal. If there are fewer likes than the number of people watching, it goes away. I will shave right here, right now. You can hear this is a real thing. So hit the like and subscribe button, or get out, or I will shave. Your choice. Your move, audience.
Doing it. I'm liking it.
All right. I hit the like button.
Sharing it again.
I've decided not to shave. Look at me. It's like as long as my beard has ever been.
I was surprised at how many people posted under that. Like I was joking, but other people have been growing their beards out for like 2 years now.
I'm a sissy. Once my beard gets about this length, it starts like getting uncomfortable, and then I have to like buzz it down.
Yeah.
My only
I
issue
can handle something like Toes.
Crispy can probably relate. It's like the only issue is like when the mustache gets a little long and you start eating it, like you're trying to eat something and the whiskers start going in your mouth. So you gotta just trim around your mouth.
What makes you think that happens to me? Mine's not that.
Well, I mean, yours is long enough to where I could see that maybe.
That's it. I'm shaving mine off too. If I don't get enough likes, that's it.
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's right.
If Maddie shaves, I will shave.
I'm going to shave my eyebrows.
Yeah.
and other things.
Oh, wow. It's a family show, yeah. Crispy.
I mean, this thing got
my legs
46,000 impressions. Like, what the hell? Should not have gotten that.
Yeah, little challenges like that. Or you do look so much younger when you shave, though. Like,
yeah.
You look like a kid when you shave.
You look like Tony.
Yeah. Like in a good way. In a good way.
I don't know.
Somebody said I look like me, Kevin, in that picture.
Yeah. Oh, God, you are so much more handsome. That guy he's not a handsome person.
So Alex chimed in.
Oh, okay.
People don't want me stealing the thunder from David either for his beard. It's pretty epic. Look at this.
Sure, mine. I could have probably been there if I hadn't been knocking it down. That's a pretty epic beard.
Is that real?
I don't know what's happening.
It looks like an
back hair rat tail.
Yeah, I hate that hair, man. When that grows,
I'll tell you. Here's what RH put.
Oh wow!
So he's really teasing that that we could be waiting here for a while. Anybody got a hair tie? He said, and he posted some image of a guy with like super long beard hair. Yeah, I mean, this community is pretty badass. I just, I'm not sure that I can live up to the epicness.
ZZ Top.
That's funny.
Cousin Vic.
Well, you got the hair growing out from the top side.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. You say you're shaving your head. That better be a major thing that you're asking for. Because that is a luxurious mane. I've seen it in person. Maddie's got great hair.
Well, the point here is to bring attention to the fact that we're not going to be waiting forever for PulseChain. We might be waiting a little bit longer. It might be another 2 weeks. What do you guys think?
I think it could come any time now.
Well, I mean, is V4 going to be like a separate announcement, or is it like just updates they did to V3 that's already tech? Are we already on V4?
We already launched it. He launched it on Wednesday.
That's what I thought.
Really?
But at the same time, I'm like, That's kind of what I was thinking, but then I started second guessing myself. Like, is it going to be a separate thing, like with a new snapshot and all of it?
Yeah. So as far as as much as I know is basically they had to go to V4 because the inflation rewards for the validators was not working out properly. And so they had to fix that. And so they skipped onto V4 now. So they're like, all right, V3, they're like, oh, gotta fix the validation inflation models. And now we're on V4. So it's just more
So
of
it's
like a 3.5, kind of.
gotcha.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
So it's not like a new RPC connection. It's just the same connection we had. It's just been updated.
It might be a new RPC, but I'm not really sure. To tell you the truth.
I'll
didn't
go
see
look
anything.
on the website that says that.
Yeah, because I was a
have
little
it.
confused.
I have it in the
just thought-
description. I'm clicking on it. It's like telling us because it was showing red bars for RPC4 before. So we'll see. My internet's acting up today.
Mine
Gotcha.
too.
Really?
Yeah, well, you guys keep lagging. Everybody though, so I'm thinking it's mine.
Just want to say hi to Susie Q in the chat. And if you want to grow a beard, don't let anyone stop you. All right? It's just
Susie Q.
2023.
Do it. I don't know about this whole vote thing, Maddie. It's like I mean, I like it. I like the idea behind it, but it's like I don't think there's any way on the planet Richard would consider public office. I would love it.
Okay, well then you're
great.
totally out of the loop, and there's a lot of upside in your attitude right now.
Oh damn.
Because all right,
Yeah.
so fine, we'll get to the main topic then. In that case,
How about this? I would like to see Richard run only if Shane is his VP. Come on, the Hart brothers running
That's
America.
funny. Oh wow, that would be something. Heart to heart.
Yeah.
okay, so
All right.
here's
saw that.
why
That was
we have
awesome.
this on the thumbnail, because I don't joke around all that much. So I did on Thursday. I told everybody because somebody said in the live stream chat, they said RH for president, and I said, yeah, I think he should run in 2028 because I already voted for him. I voted for him back in 2020, and I said on the live stream, I even took a picture of it to prove it. So then, of course, I had to post that on Twitter when somebody came and like clipped that shit and like called me out on it. It was like, oh, that's so awesome. And so I posted the picture of me, and I probably should have written Richard Schuler, right? But I wrote Richard Hart, whatever. It was 2020. I was a pleb. But Richard retweeted this. Okay. So the speculation isn't it comes down to, do you think Richard thought it was cool that I voted for him, or did he think it was cool that I was saying that he should run in 2028?
I think he thinks it's cool that you voted for him. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Then again, he's talked about starting his own country. So I mean, it's like he is an ever evolving human being. So maybe, and sometimes those things come to people later in life that they want to do public service of some sort. I would love it. I think he would be a brilliant leader. I think he has shown that in our community already. The media would have a field day with him. It would be polarizing, but I think if people got through the exterior FUD of him as a candidate and saw like what his basic tenets are as a human being and his character, it's like I think he could potentially be the greatest president in the history of the United States.
That's what I like to hear, because this is happening whether you like it or not. And there were 844 people who liked this, and it was pretty ambiguous. So imagine how much support there would be if it was the real thing. Brisology, what's your take on this? We need your alpha.
I think he should run for the promotion of PulseChain solely. I think he should just be like, I created the world's fastest appreciating asset. I'm going to create the world's greatest appreciating smart contract. And I think he can go on a anti-Elizabeth Warren, anti-crypto stance, where he's like, I will fight for the crypto people. And even if he doesn't get elected El Presidente, it'll be a lot of fun. A lot of memes will come out of it too. And
Dude, memes. Dude,
Can you imagine people
Yeah.
debating him?
Dude,
Sheesh. I mean, people got freaked out with Trump's style of debate. Oh my God. Could you imagine?
it would be pretty fun. It would be pretty funny watching him, go up against whatever. Which political party do you guys think he would? Think he'd go independent? I think he'd go independent.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Independent.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think I don't think he's gonna run. Seems like a lot of paperwork. I think he has other stuff on his plate.
I think he can make a bigger impact elsewhere.
If he runs?
If he does not run.
Okay.
I think there's bigger impact. I mean, look at Elon Musk and like the changes he's making, and it's like that's pretty significant, And if you think about the system that we have in place, how much power does a president actually hold, comparative to the Congress and just the system in general? It's I don't know. I feel like it would be a terribly frustrating position.
Yeah. I don't want that job.
No. I thought about it.
ChrispyMan, what's your take?
Well, I don't know. I'd vote for him. How about that?
All right, we got one vote here, people.
I think it'd be, as far as what party, I don't know. There's some benefits to running on any of the parties, so we're against. So, it's there's a strategy behind coming in and running as a Republican versus a Democrat versus
like game theory almost.
Yeah, there's some game theory in there, but yeah, what the hell? Though I think it's about 99% on unlikely this is going to happen, but maybe, never say never, right? I mean, I laughed. I laughed the first time I saw The Simpsons say that Donald Trump was going to be president. So, this could be your moment, Maddie.
All right.
Well, you know what? The thing is, too, is like I saw, I think it was Corey Costa was commenting on Robert Kennedy running. And it's one of those deals where it's like, a lot of times, guys, the odds of someone winning is minimal, right? But if they can get to the debate, then they can bring those issues to the fore, and then that could potentially carry forward for whoever gets nominated by their party or whatnot. So I think even if it wasn't a win to even get your name out there and your issues out there, could make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's free advertising too, so that's pretty cool.
Indeed, the ultimate outrage marketing.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that the burn feature was turned on onto PulseX?
I heard.
Oh, I did not.
It was turned on.
Oh.
The public function. Things are being turned on little by little. It seems like. Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the bridge opened up. The V3 testnet bridge to bridge over Ethereum onto the Pulse chain. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it was test die, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so and the unlikely hero himself, Sticker Guy Win, has been playing around with that. One of the most active users there on Twitter that's been posting. He created his own coin, added liquidity. He pumped the price up to like $36 million or something. He kept like playing around with the numbers 369 and 420, of course, and he's been having a ball with it. So look, if he can do it, everybody can do it. Sticker guy rocks, and but remember, we onboarded him at the top, and he's still here. So that's a good sign.
We love you, sticker guy.
Yeah, he's fighting the good fight for sure.
DCA, get those bottoms in.
That's right. Yeah, so I checked the website is pls.live, and it's showing that the V4 RPC is not up. But we might be splitting hairs here, because the whole point is that we know that there's a private testnet running, on the side. We know that V4 is expected, but is it going to be more obvious, or is it going to be more integrated into V3? In some ways, it might be semantics, but the chatter on the street, I think, in public, that is, Richard's been asking for game theory. He's been asking for people's input on the game theory on Twitter. Maybe even in some Telegram rooms and this and that.
He's asking for the ratio, right?
That was the question that he posted on Twitter. So basically asking what should the ratio be between PLS and PLSX, starting off from the beginning. And we've covered that on this show. Back when it was all happening, we were covering what were the relative sacrifice amounts. For example, it's like 600 million user controlled sacrifice points went for PulseChain, and then it was like maybe 13.5 billion, somewhere in there, for the OA at that point on PulseChain. And then for PulseX, it was very close to $1 billion of user controlled points, and then something crazy like 50 billion or something from the OA. So
So what do you guys think the ratio should be?
1-to-1.
1-to-1?
So the reason I think it should be 1-to-1 is because there's already a lot of balance built into the system, because even though more people have PulseX and more people sacrifice for it, and there was more sacrificed, that would suggest that maybe you'd want to have a little bit more on that side of the ratios. However, remember that the fixer bot, in all of its genius and glory, is going to swap out the liquidity provider on Ethereum, their copy on PulseChain. So this pool of PRC20s that is mispriced compared to the Pulse that's left in the pool. Well, the fixer bot, it's going to take like 99% or something of that PRC 20 liquidity that gets copied over. It's going to take that out, and it's going to replace it with Pulse. And at least that's my understanding based on the original design. And so that means that there is a certain percentage of the total supply of Pulse that's going to be given to those liquidity providers in such a fashion. So like, let's say the fixer bot, because I don't remember how much of the total supply of Pulse that the fixer bot gets, but it's something like 2.5% or 5% of the total supply. Now, when we're talking about PulseChain, it's interesting that the OA sacked like 20x or something compared to the user controlled coins. And so even if the fixer bot is getting 5% of all the coins, that's equal to the total number of coins that the users are getting. If the fixer bot only scales in 1% of its bag or something, or if it replaces those PRC20s, we don't know the final game theory of how it's going to work. And it's probably best, because then people could game it, and you don't want people to game it. So it's probably a good thing that we don't know the final way that it'll work. But that's why I'm thinking that there will be a balance on the PLS side where there actually is going to be more of a user-controlled supply on Pulse than originally thought if you had only compared like the 600 million to the 1 billion user-controlled coins. I think the ratio is going to be closer to 1-to-1.
Baby cakes. I don't know. Sugar plum. Ode to Sami. Sugar
Yeah.
plum. Baby cakes.
I was thinking about starting the stream like that, but
yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Hey, you
Yeah, he's
know,
awesome.
you know what? The 1-to-1, like, I'm feeling pretty one-dimensional tonight. But that 1-to-1, that just means that anybody gets PulseX can get a boatload more PulseX. Or excuse me, everybody has PulseX can get a boatload more Pulse, right? So does that make my Pulse like even more valuable?
compared to what?
Like in general, because now instead of all those guys who have 3 PulseX getting 1 Pulse, now they're going to get 3 Pulse. And so if they want more, they can get more, a lot more.
That would make your Pulse less valuable in PLSX terms, but it depends like what you're denominating it in.
Sure. And so, yeah, price go up. I like that on the Pulse side, because that would mean that my Pulse is more valuable in fiat. A lot more, like 3 times more valuable than the other way around, potentially.
I think that might be backwards, because it's like
I'm sticking to it.
Well,
okay.
like I think we have to set a baseline. So, Crispy, like if you're trying to imagine like a starting price or value for Pulse or PulseX, like I think what's been relatively common, because everyone's kind of been asking like, well, what's the starting price? And the only real way to guess would be look at sacrifice value divided by the token supply. So is that what you're basing your ratio on?
No, I'm not talking about that at all. I'm saying to myself, okay, it was going to be some ratio, right? I know a lot of people got a lot of PulseX, right?
Yes.
And they want a lot of Pulse.
Yes.
And it was going to be really expensive.
Yes.
For them to get Pulse. But now it's going to be cheaper for them to get Pulse. They can get a lot more, which means scarcity of Pulse goes, so the availability goes way down. Assuming that some of those people really want that layer 1 to hold, rather than the other way around. So in retrospect, right, it's going to it could make that price scream. Isn't that possibly how that could work? Because how else could you get the Pulse, right? If the PulseX guys are already in system, are snapping that up, and other people are coming into the system, right, including the PRC, 20 guys, all trying to get the Pulse,
Yeah. So I think
situations.
I think that it is going to come down to like the demand, the true market demand. I don't expect that the OA is going to manipulate things very much or at all, which is cool because eventually the market's going to do what it needs to do. But the interesting part is like also what the incentive token will do. And we did a show about that before. But the idea there is that if you can incentivize people to bridge in their ERC20s that they wrap and pair those with their PRC20s or with anything, they could pair it with Pulse, they could they could create any liquidity pair they want. What that does is that gives value through Hart's law to whatever they've paired it with. So it could be Pulse, they could be pairing it with PulseX, right? Because if there is no PulseX pairs at the beginning, people can create them, right? If that's a popular thing to trade. And so I can imagine a world where people are bridging in so much value and they're being incentivized, they're being paid incentive tokens to do that, and the price just starts running with PulseChain because it has high liquidity with PulseX. That would drag both those prices up if they're both scarce and people are bridging in value.
Yeah, I think the debate was just trying to determine approximations of like what the value of Pulse will be relative to Pulse X as the market kind of shows itself. So
Yeah.
so to try to determine where to start that, it was a pretty broad range, you know, because I mean the one far end was 4-1, with the 4 being Pulse X, 4 Pulse X to 1 Pulse. And that was based largely on the sacrifice value and divided by the token supply. So, and then the other end of the spectrum was 3-1, which was 3 Pulse X for every. Wait, let me think. 3-1 the other way. So basically, it was like 1 pulse would get you 3 Pulse X, and the first way was it would take you 4 pulse to get 1 Pulse X. So it was like a 12x apart, right? And then so both arguments, both camps kind of had their reasoning behind it, and a lot of it was about public perception. And we had like a long chat about this, and basically honed it down to get us around the 1-to-1, because ultimately the market's going to decide. So that ratio is going to change pretty quickly as soon as people start trading it. So it's
Super good point. Super good point.
Yeah, I don't think people need to get too wrenched about the 1-to-1 starting price.
I think it's great when people get wrenched. Do you guys want to play a game?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm down.
No.
Okay.
Oh, crispy.
So each
Curmudgeon.
one of us can choose one of these 4 tokens to represent. And you're gonna state the case for the value proposition. So hopefully you get one that you like can make a good case for, okay? And we can go around. So the tokens are gonna be Pulse, PulseX, Hex, and the incentive token.
When moon.
So then you could say like what are the pros, what are the use cases, what's the value proposition? How would you describe this to somebody that you want to see them do well in crypto? So who wants to go first, like drawing like which token they'll represent?
I'll go first.
I hope you get incentive token because I don't know that one.
I was actually going to ask if I could have the incentive token.
Awesome.
Hey,
Brisology.
Hey, Briz, when moon? When moon?
Half the stuff I'm making up out of my butt because I'm not really sure.
Let's do it.
But
Oh, don't stop there.
The reason why the incentive token is the token to have is
Yes.
because it makes PulseChain coin PLS more valuable. All right, and you ask yourself, how does it make PLS more valuable? And basically, what you will be doing is taking your PLS and locking it up. You're going to be staking it more or less, and you'll be earning the incentive token. And game theory states that if you lock up coins and the supply goes down while the demand stays constant or increases, that means the price of PLS will increase. Now, what is the incentive token? Now, in my opinion, I believe the incentive token is a many tokens. I think it's a bunch of different tokens. I think it could be really any kind of token. And what it is that when a new project comes along, they're going to want to distribute their incentive tokens, and they're going to dump it into a pool on PLSX, or on the PLSX exchange, PulseX. And so when they put those coins, those incentive tokens inside the pool, you get to stake your PLS and earn those passively for free. And then what you do with them is up to you. You can sell them. Maybe those have staking properties, or anything. Maybe they're used for something, this or that. Doesn't really matter. They're free coins for staking PLS or PLS. And so I like it because it encourages people to lock up their PLS, thus making it more valuable.
Awesome. I'm sold.
The crowd goes crazy.
Now
One Lambo.
we'll have ChrispyMan go next. You get to
Oh,
pick
no.
one of the four and represent it.
I'm gonna do the incentive token. How about that one? Oh wait, we already did that one. I don't know much about
He
it.
just copies my answer.
Which one do I want to talk about? What do we got? I got PulseX, Pulse, or Hex. Those are the three.
That's right. All on PulseChain.
And it sounded like Briz did like all positive stuff, no negative stuff. Am I supposed to do pros or cons, or am I just supposed to do pros?
You're given the use case and the value proposition.
Well, I'm going to steal the easy one. I'll steal Hex.
All right.
But you know what? I don't
That's what I
want
get
to
for
do it.
being quiet.
I don't want to do it. I'm going to let Toby do it because you know why? Because I don't.
Hex
I don't
is easier.
want.
There's just so much information.
No, I don't want anybody to pick up on my. I don't want anybody to pick up on my strategy. Right?
Okay.
So I almost want to drop right now and not talk about this.
You said
what do
your
I know?
connection was sketchy, so
I know.
you could have had an out. Be like, ah,
Let me freeze. It's like,
You froze.
I'm frozen. All right.
and my
So
strategy.
Hex. So I think Hex is this is what I think about those and why I would choose Hex. I think Hex is the only proven with
Wait! You said you were giving me Hex.
No, I'm taking it back.
He's taking it back.
I'm going to say Hex is the only proven yield generating contract that I believe in that's coming across onto Pulse, and it has a extremely strong community that is
Nice.
very well endowed in many
That's
ways,
right.
and with that endowment, it's got the community factor to do what we needed to do to continue to pay that pay that yield. And that being the case, I think that we have people lined up, in order to come onto PulseChain and to keep that engine working. And then when we're looking at the fort that we were talking about, it's certainly the one that, without price appreciation, will likely produce the highest amount or highest percent yield per year. All right, and which is the case for dropping that stinky Pulse and PulseX and swapping over into Hex, but on the PulseChain in order to make sure you have that yield. So those are the types of things I think about when I think about Hex on PulseChain. Tried, true, never ending, never been hacked, immutable. They don't have to worry about all these other things that are happening. So
100% uptime.
100% up there. Everybody swap everything into Hex. That's what I think.
Is it going to be 200% uptime when PulseChain launches?
100.
Right?
It's always 110%, Maddie. 110%.
Well, it's two chains, so it's 200.
Yeah, X is the rock, and I tongue in cheek it a little bit. I'm laughing a little bit as I do this, but I really believe that's the right strategy, and I'm really hoping that 90% of the people, 95% of the people hear me talk about it, they know you're full of shit. Sorry for the language. You're full of crap. You should not be believing that. In fact, you guys all chase other things. That's good. Go do that. I like that.
Nice.
You're so shiny.
I think Richard should get an extra 100% for every coin he launches that has uptime, like 100% uptime. So
All right. So 400.
he's gonna have at least like
almost 400%.
300% pretty soon.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I don't
more
want
than that.
PulseX because I probably know the least about it amongst the four of us. It seems overly simple, and I just don't want to assume that and then look really dumb. So
Which one are you taking?
Of the two left, I think I know more about Pulse, so I think that's the one that I would take.
Sell me on it.
Pulse, it's essentially a copy of Ethereum 2.0, which is a proof of stake instead of proof of work. So we are getting the most up-to-date, best version of Ethereum out there, and making improvements upon it. So it's going to be a less crowded chain. So just like traffic on a highway, if you are trying to book freight to move something to point A to point B, if there's a lot of traffic, you're going to pay a lot more. So initially, there's going to be less traffic, and the structure of the chain is such that the fees will be exponentially less, which you can already see on testnet v3, and also it should be a bit faster than Ethereum as it is now. Also, there are ample opportunities without a huge outlay of resources to become a validator on the chain to help secure the network as a to help with the proof of stake consensus. And if you look at what if you're just a moon math guy, and I mean, who's not that's in crypto? If you look at what Ethereum did from launch to its first all-time, or I guess it's still its current all-time high. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was a 14,000x. So it seems to me like Pulse would be a really, really good thing to get into. L1s typically do as well, if not better, than pretty much 98% of what else runs on that chain. So I think that's, and I mean, obviously, if you're looking for store of value, I mean, Hex is my, my shirt, Hex Pulse guy, right? So
oh, that's cute, man. I like that.
Yeah, that's the old Monopoly money guy. I think I got that on Hex merch. But yeah, so I mean, that's like store value. I think Hex obviously.
Let me see it.
Talk that stuff, but Pulse I think is a great.
Can you show it again?
Way to go. The shirt, sure. Hang on, I gotta get my back brace thing off.
I hope you're wearing underwear.
I am. There
it is. Love it.
The Monopoly money guy with the Hex Pulse eyes in army green. Yeah. So yeah, that's my pitch for Pulse. I think the con of that, of course, is it's a new chain. So and it's currently unproven until it's been out for a while. I think with the track record of the founder, I think there's a lot of confidence that can be put into it being a solid L1. But that is always a risk you take when you're going into a new token, is that it's unproven until it's proven, right? So I think that would really be the only con I could think of. And it's all about adoption. And I mean, who is not going to be interested in at least going on and playing around if you're going to get a free copy of your ERC20s as PRC20s over there for literally doing nothing? They're just going to appear. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that was a good job, man. Thank you for doing that.
Sign me up.
Sure.
I mean, that makes me feel like like I want to stay on Pulse.
Good plan.
Good plan. I don't know, man. Another one of those.
How's my internet doing? Am I choppy?
You sound good to me.
You're a little grainy, but your audio is good.
For me, it looks like you're a foreign movie. You're kind of dubbed, but your lips don't match your voice.
All right, well, you're all crazy because PulseX is the one that's going to make it. I can tell you why. So, it was widely unexpected that there was going to be this second sacrifice after the first one. So, the greater number of people in PulseX, it's actually a really good thing. People are underestimating this. And the reason is because I see stronger marketing for PulseX than anything else. I see Westcott Crypto with the PulseX logo on his stuff. I see K4K Crypto being the most popular because guess what? More people sacrificed for PulseX, so more people are incentivized to talk about it. It's more than the number of people who are maybe talking about Hex at some times, although at other times it seems like there's a lot of people talking about Hex. But I think PulseX gets more mentions than Pulse if you get down to the people who are hardcore promoting them. And I think that having cheap fees, that's a mandate that kind of keeps the price of Pulse low. Now we don't know the final game mechanics on any of this stuff, so it's wild speculation at this point, everything that we're seeing. But the fact that the Fixer bot isn't handing out any PulseX to anybody, and the fact that there are people, even such as myself, who I went hard for the Pulse sacrifice. I didn't know that there was going to be a PulseX sacrifice. So my PulseX bag is smaller than my Pulse bag. So, hopefully I'm going to be able to balance those babies out at some point. And then you got the buy and burn. You got the fact that PulseChain, when it was announced, was thought to be deflationary. Now we know that it's this like weird combination of inflation and deflation, just like Ethereum 2.0 is. But with PulseX, it's just deflationary. Once people buy it, then they get to choose whether they're going to sell it or not. But you can't sell it twice. And then you got the, you got Greg the Duck owning a lot of it. You got the big buyer Barry bot that K4K talks about. That's the buy and burn character that just it takes the volume and this mechanism. We haven't quite seen it, and other dexes have done quite well. Other dex tokens. So even when the value proposition is a meme, these things do well. In this case, we have a high level of participation in marketing and probably a great anticipation from people who over sacrifice for Pulse, and then you got the buy and burn. So there it is.
Was there like a time limit on this or what?
Did I go super long?
No, I think you need to do the other 3 now too, because it's not fair. It's not fair because you did the whole spiel. Because now I'm feeling I got to drop everything and go PulseX.
What do you want me to do next?
I'm just talking out loud, man. Just telling you how people feel and watching this stuff.
Yeah, I mean. So I think Pulse could be really good. But the one that nobody's talking about is Hex. So that's the one that's going to do the best.
I know.
It's the sleeper, man.
That's good. Do you think it's possible that somebody can accumulate a million Hex during that? I think so. I don't know. I was just thinking way back when I was just a little baby Hexagon. It was a long time ago, and I was there, and I was like, I'm going to get 1 billion Hex. And then I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Damn.
Dude.
Damn, I'd like to do that now.
Billion's a big number.
1 billion. It's 1,000 millions.
1 billion.
1 billion. Even back then, that was kind of crazy talk, right? Because 1,000, 1,000 millions, right, was still at a minimum 80 grand fiat USD, right?
I remember
not double.
I remember when the first guy paper handed out, nightly crypto, he had 150 million staked. Dude. And I was just like, that kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, how does this guy have so much freaking Hex?
Yeah, and that would have tripled by now, right? At least, maybe double.
At least.
At least.
Oh my God. Big payday. Oh yeah, at least.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they'll call him that. He's a benefactor, right? He benefited us.
Distributed those coins out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thanks, I guess.
And he made a profit too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody wins.
Hey, 10%. 10% is 10%, man.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody
He didn't even sell on one double. It's like he had 11, 12 doubles to sell on, and he didn't even make it to the first one. So.
Can we talk about the real elephant in the room?
Sure. What's that?
What do you got?
All right. I know Maddie already talked about it today. What is Toby Wan and ChrispyMan's opinion on Staker App V2?
Oh man!
Did you guys see the stream I did?
I saw it.
I didn't know. I need to go back and watch that.
No, I started watching the one with coffee.
So the question is, have you guys updated your Staker apps?
Well, Smarty, my phone just did it automatically. I didn't even ask. I just went and looked, and it changed. I was like, "Damn! Everything's gone." Yeah.
I know. I was actually going through the application settings and see. I'm like trying to turn off the auto update. I'm like, can I turn it off? And I couldn't find it, and it just auto updated, anyways. But you know what though, I don't mind it. It's not that big of a deal. It's everything about it. It seems like an upgrade. It has like the performance tab. I've been watching all these streams of Steph, and no one is talking about the performance tab. That's pretty cool because it shows you like your stake, and then it shows you what it would have done if you did it just for a day, for a month, and for a year. And so,
Really?
yeah,
That's
so
cool.
yeah, it shows shows all three of those. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, like.
I haven't got a
So,
chance to play with it myself because it's like I'm an Apple guy, so it's like I've not got the update yet. But I was able to see it
Same.
briefly on my sister's. She's on Android, but then she left town like that later that same day, so I only got to see a little bit of it. My only issue is if you have a lot of wallets that you want to track, and luckily he boosted it from 5 to 10, but still there are people out there that have more than 10 wallets they want to track. So
Who?
me.
Okay.
And
So
others probably.
so like I hear you on that, but like I think 10 is pretty generous, and I think like there's so many different ways you can track that on your phone, like go.tshare.app, stakehex.today. There's a ton of them where you just basically, how I have it set up is I have a link in my notes folder, a link that says go.tshare.app account equals, and then you put the first address 0x blah blah, and then you put an ampersand, and then you put account equals, and you keep doing that, and that will generate a link, and then you could just tap that link every time you want to see it. You can even make it you can make the link an icon on your home screen, so it's like having an app, and it's going to show you actually a little bit more than StakeWrap used to show you, and then it'll rack up my server bill and not Steph's, right?
Gotcha.
And but at the end of the day, you could do that with stakehex.today. You could do the same exact thing. You could do it with hexfire.io. There are like lots of options, and I think like Staker, they're focusing on onboarding 1 million people so that you can actually get a lot more zeros on your screen.
Sure.
And that'll be good for everybody.
Did you see did you see the league up and the level up buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. I don't think you might have seen that, Maddie, but it's pretty awesome.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so you can push. It calculates for you what you need to put in to go up to like Tinkering Turtle or whatever, and you push the button and you can go buy and stake. I like that. I think the controversy with all this is, people just let it go, man. Let the guy's trying to do business, right, and trying to provide a good service. Has provided a really good service. The freaking app is awesome, and that in what it does. Now, what's the problem? I admit it, right? I've been staring at this thing for 3 years. All right, I know what to look for when I go do it. Now it's changed.
True.
It's new. It's different. It doesn't look the same. I'll get over it.
I think
I'll figure it out.
That's the point I made earlier today, is that everybody who's addicted to checking the price and they have their dopamine hit that they're waiting for doesn't really like change. And so I think that's part of it. And I think that there were some rumors, people saying that like you'd have to pay like every month a certain, because that's what I thought at first was you have to pay a certain amount every month. No, it's not even like that. In order to get the premium, all that means is that you pay the gas fee to get a smart wallet, and then you get the expanded number of trackable addresses, and that's an incentive to do the right thing. Not something that they profit from. They actually lose money on those.
Right, Maddie, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't watch your stream. If I was going to use Staker, which I did to stake, I've used Staker, I needed that address in the first place. So if I am actually a user of their service, I have that access.
You're already a premium.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the folks who wanted to do stuff for free, And so there's some different stuff. I mean, I had some people hit me up for, hey, why don't you build something? So I may do a reconfiguration, but one tool doesn't rule them all, guys, right?
Correct.
We can have lots of different things.
So Alex from Hedron, he stated that he's going to build, or alluded to him building, a mobile app, and Steph applauded that. on Twitter, which I thought was really cool. So everybody's like, wanting to work together and no expectations, just because we've all been supporters of Stake Wrap, and then something changes, we can keep supporting them. And so, yeah, and look, Steph's probably coming out with the token. He's going to reward people for having a better security setup, which is revolutionary. I think that he really wants to scale to millions of people to bring them to Hex. I think that he is the #1 deployer of Gnosis safes already in the world, the same technology that Vitalik uses to secure his stuff. And so I'm really bullish on all that.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen thus far, it's like it seems pretty cool, and it's like I like change. It's like I've always been an early adopter of things since I was a kid, and the only thing it was what I said was like just the reduction in the number of wallets, which obviously is not going to affect everyone. So that seemed like a little bit of a step down, just because to have it all in the same familiar place that you've always had it, or like the same app at least, was nice. And maybe he'll upgrade that again later at a different point. And people would be willing to pay for it if that was necessary to help with his server cost or whatnot. But other than that, it seems like some pretty cool stuff going on. I think that people's expectations might have been out of alignment, like, people wanting to be able to stake or mint their Hedron in the app, those kinds of things that don't seem to be part of this particular update. I don't know if that's something he might be working on in the future. To me, it seems just like from a business, standpoint, it's smart, because it's a way to earn additional staker app fees, even though there's nominal. If you have enough people doing it, it's a revenue stream. And I think people that don't like the, people that had to get their Hedron by going the Gnosis route and potentially putting themselves at risk by, putting their seed words into a computer because they're not savvy, and don't understand, using a hardware wallet to kind of protect themselves from that. It could be of benefit to people. I mean, to me, it seems like there's a use case to have that there, and value proposition. So, but we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see it on my own phone at some point soon, hopefully. And I think, if there's other options out there that more people are using, it's just different on-ramps to get people into the ecosystem. And ultimately, it's a rising tide. So more boats. I like it.
More boats. That's right.
Did he mention anything about his tokenomics
More boats.
on his?
Look.
Did you have Steph on, or were you just?
I did. Yeah, I had Steph on. Yeah, it was an incredible stream. If you don't watch it, you're an idiot. Because look, I believe in airdrops. I'm an airdrop believer, right? And Molly the investor and I were, ranting and raving about airdrops, and then Richard came along and announced, a couple months later, like he's going to make the biggest airdrop of all time. And that's called PulseChain, right?
Hey, Maddie, I just thought of a great song for Westcott Crypto, and he could use clips of you. You don't even need to submit like new video. And it could be the Monkey song, Daydream Believer, but it could be you and Airdrop Believer.
Go for it.
You know the tune, right? Oh, come on.
Go for
it. I'll work on something. I'll get a hold of Westcott. Maybe we can put something together. Airdrop Believer. I love it.
Yeah, I like that dude. And I like his work. So,
yes.
But this idea, like I got all my friends together and said, hey, here's $20 of Ethereum. Here's a half-page list of instructions to get Hex. And this is, when Hex was 6 months old or something. And it's like the people who took my advice on that, like there were 3 people who got Uniswap airdrops out of the $20 that I sent them. And then they had $1,400. And then they put it into Hex, and 2 of them staked it for 10 years. Guess how much Hex they have now? They have 1.3 million Hex and growing. Nice. Because they did something. They did one transaction with like dust that I had laying around. So I'm like, I'm really bullish on like the possibility of onboarding the world through airdrops and that sort of thing. And so Steph basically he hinted on the episode, and you guys can go back and look at it, and you can see like what you think about about what hints he may have dropped or whatever for the airdrop that Stakerop might do at some point. But yeah, I think that's really exciting. I'm really excited.
Free stuff. I like free stuff.
And of course, another thing that I'm pumped about this week, it's like, you know, sometimes in crypto I get so excited I don't sleep as well because it's like it's so exciting for me. Time Pays Me went to audit, so that's
Awesome.
big news.
Nice. That's cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a long time coming. You guys remember I've been saying like for weeks, I've been like, we're so close to audit. We're so close to audit. It's going to happen anytime. And so that feels really good because what that means is that we're happy with the blockchain code. And we did an update to it recently because we found a way to optimize something at the last minute. And I'm pretty excited about that. Basically, the idea is you may be able to send coins into a time lock using the send function instead of having to do like a lock function. Basically, if you send it to your vault address, it'll just get auto locked for 7 days. And that it reduces friction and it makes it so you don't have to have access to the actual wallet that you're talking about. You could be sending from exchange, you could be sending from any wallet that you have, and it just goes into safekeeping right away automatically. And it costs less gas in some circumstances to do it that way, I believe, as well. So,
right on.
Yeah,
that'll
That's
be fun
awesome
to learn more about as it becomes
and,
available.
And then, you know, then the other part that blows my mind too is like people could come along and airdrop to anybody who's done that, or they could go and like look on the blockchain and they could see like who are the most long-term minded people who time locked their Ethereum or who time locked their PulseChain or their PulseX. And you could have a whole season of teams competing to airdrop particular behaviors on Time Pays Me.
Incentive coins.
That's right. And I think that's again, it's a really powerful motivator. It's like a whole new mechanism for incentivizing people, and so we're really excited about that.
Do you know how long the audit is supposed to take? Have they given you a deadline?
I asked them if they could get it done in a week, and they said they might be able to do it even faster.
Oh,
nice,
sweet.
Yeah, and there's usually one back and forth, and so I kind of you know, it's the unknown situation, but usually when you're happy with your final blockchain code and then you go get it audited, you know, there's every hope that there aren't many corrections, if any, and then you have that back and forth and you get a report that's really giving a full view of what it is that they think are the pros and cons. So
very nice. Speaking of airdrops, I just saw someone mention in the chat the fiat airdrop that hit a bunch of people recently. I heard some friends of mine talking about they had participated in the that sacrifice. But the thing that's exciting to me about that, I mean, obviously free money for people is great, so congratulations to those that got that. But the other piece is that it will allow people to short Hex. Is that right? Like that it's an Aave copy, I think. But yeah, but whatever. It's like, to me, that is like a definitely bright future for Hex hodlers and stakers, because it's like if all these people that are, you know, doubting it, it's kind of like when Elon encouraged Bill Gates to go short Tesla, right?
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was some beef like once upon a time.
Oh wow.
Between the two of them, like Bill Gates said some unkind things about it, and Elon encouraged him to go short it. Which would have been a very, very bad move for Mr. Gates. So,
yeah, so that was a free airdrop to anyone that sacrificed, I think, for PulseX.
Wait, right? Really?
Yep.
PulseX?
I thought it was only for people who sacrificed for fiat.
For famous, wasn't it? That's what I heard.
Or for one of the PHs. And then they just like decided to fork it on Ethereum while they're at it instead of only forking it onto PulseChain. But I really don't know. What do you think, Crispy?
Maybe somebody can confirm it in chat because I think I saw both. And I'm not really close to that one.
I'll have to go check some wallets if that's the case, because it's like, if it was just for sacking.
Check
for
Pulse Police
PulseX,
first.
Yeah, right. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Billions and billions and billions.
It's raining tokens, free money, man.
It's raining
uh,
tokens.
Yeah. Yep. And then what about this MetaMask? Is MetaMask ever going to do an airdrop, man?
All right, look,
Does that ever happen?
there was
Yeah, Maddie.
there was much twittering happening. Of course, Twitter to Twitter is an old English word. It means like you're goofing around or you're saying things that don't make any sense. So like, there's that context.
That makes sense that it's called Twitter then.
Twitter
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yep.
Oh yeah. And it's like a plebeian, right? It's like that's what the word pleb is short for. And we've got to get with our old English here. So MetaMask token, I've been waiting for it. I've been doing my part to sacrifice. I've supported the entire organization with the amount of swapping that I do in MetaMask, right?
Same.
And normally it's like I'm just doing a little DCA in and out of stuff. And so if I'm doing a transaction that's over $1,000, I don't want to give MetaMask $10. I don't want to give them their 1% or like 0.87% fee. So then I run over to matcha.xyz or Uniswap or whatever it would be. But if I'm doing these small little transactions of a couple $100, $500, I don't mind giving MetaMask $2 to $5 here and there
for a lottery ticket.
For a lottery ticket for me
Right.
to register on the blockchain with several different wallets that I've had activity in the past year, that I've had activity in the past 6 months. These Uniswap airdrops, those were worth $1,200. There was a 1-inch airdrop that was worth hundreds of dollars. There was, what else was there? There was
Tornado Cash was another one. I didn't get that.
ENS, Ethereum name system. It was like huge. It was like $3,000 or $5,000 per address that you did this. So that's really powerful. Some people, they don't want to spend $5 here and there. They would rather put that into Hex because that's what they believe in. So the founders of MetaMask, they were getting harassed on Twitter, and they finally kept saying, this and that, like, oh yeah, maybe we will, blah, blah, blah. But the whole point is that founders, they always tell you the opposite, or they always tell you something weird. That's what I noticed right before 1inch did their airdrop, right before ENS did their airdrop. They were saying, we're not doing it, right? Because they don't want people to game the system, because that's a dumponomic,
Right.
The opposite of a pumpamental, whatever, a dumpamental. There we go.
Right.
Now, what was I going to say? Okay, there is a sleeper airdrop that I hope you all showed up for, and it's the Gnosis Safe airdrop. So I think the deadline has already come. But if you had a Gnosis Safe through Staker app or on your own, then every instance of that, you could have claimed a certain number of safe tokens. Now, those safe tokens, they don't exist yet, despite what the scammers will tell you. Well, they exist, but they can't be sent. And so eventually the DAO will vote to make those sendable and tradable. And then we'll have hopefully hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of those coins as a community.
Didn't they move the deadline up? Because I thought the deadline was going to be like the end of the year or something, and then it ended up being in like September. Because like Papa and I were talking about, I'm like, what the fuck? It's like they already did it. I'm like, I thought I had more time.
There was a certain amount of time, and then they extended it into like the winter here, and then they did a vote, and the vote said that they would postpone making them sendable, which is wild to me.
Yeah,
like that just shows you how unpredictable DAOs are.
Sure.
Is like the DAO decided to like keep their coins frozen. Would it like somebody needs to explain the game theory of that to me at some point when they figure it out, because I have no idea. Why would I mean, all I can think is like bear market, maybe, but like it's kind of weird to me. like it would, yeah. Like, can you imagine if like everybody who, okay, so like this would be like if everybody who, what is it? Everybody who owns, is it PLSX? You get to vote on how the incentive token is distributed.
Yeah.
So imagine if everybody who owned PLSX was just like, yeah, we're just not going to distribute any incentive token.
Yeah.
It'd be like, what?
Change their minds.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like it.
So
Yeah, DAOs are.
but at some
tricky.
point, those safe tokens will become available, and if it is more of a bull market in that case, then that'll be good news for people. Because even if you didn't claim the airdrop, it's very likely that the people who did, they might be putting their value into Hex. So it's bullish for everyone.
Yep. I like it.
What do you guys think about my selling point for like swapping inside of MetaMask? Like, are you convinced, or are you going to keep saving money?
I did it. I mean, I think that there were a couple things that maybe made them back off of it if they were considering it back then. It was like a year or two ago that you and others were talking about it, and then I went and did a bunch. Then I found out later, it's like, well, wait a minute, it might be per seed phrase and not per account. So I kind of maybe shot myself in the foot there because I did multiple accounts under individual seed phrases, so I didn't have as many as I thought. But
No
then
way.
I think
It has to be under your account because there's no way they'd be able to tell your seed phrase.
That's kind of what I thought too. It's like it's got to be by public
by
address.
address.
Right?
By address.
This was before PulseChain got announced. Like Motley and I figured out that Richard had said something that like indicated that made us think that there actually is a way to figure out if the addresses are related to the same seed. But then I still don't know how that would be.
Right.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see. But my thought is that the market started going south. So I think that they backed off because they're like, well, if we do this now, it's kind of like timing the market with people speculating about that happening with Pulse. You don't want to launch it in the the beginning or the depths of a bear because most people are desperate and are going to probably be more likely to dump it. So I think if they had thoughts of doing it, that might have been a factor to back off and wait. So it'll be interesting to see, if they decide to do that this year. But I'm all about it.
I've never made a transaction or a swap inside of MetaMask, but you've convinced me, Maddie. I'm gonna do at least one swap in each of my wallets.
Yep.
And
it just costs a little bit more.
I can't recall if I actually ever did one, but when I was going through and revoking the other day, I saw that I had something open for almost 2 years on that, and I revoked it. Revoked it. No.
Well done.
So no, I think what happened is I think I went and did a transaction because I was watching this YouTube stream where these guys kept talking about how there was going to be some sort of an airdrop, and so I went and did some transactions, which meant I had to approve.
Yep.
Now I don't know who those guys would have been, but maybe one of them was like M.A. Maybe both of their names started with M. I don't know. The Mac guys or something.
Yeah, I hope those guys got run out of the community.
No, airdrops are real, man. I mean,
it's no joke.
Yeah. Are you guys waiting?
Guys, this is waiting. Yes, of course. Well, no, I already.
I cashed that right away.
I don't have that. I don't have that kind of time. I'm waiting with my weight. I have my weight. Yeah. But Richard,
I claimed it. I thought,
I
figured I'm going to fall asleep on it and then I'm going to miss it. So I'm like,
you get to claim it again once Pulse launches. There's a second part to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, like the unclaimed get to be reclaimed?
Some weird stuff.
Yeah, I was really impressed with those guys just in general. The ones doing that project. So anyways, yeah, I'm hopeful for some really good things that might come out of that. Including on off ramps.
Now I see Tarnwig in there saying there's no gas to claim weight.
I don't know about that. I think
cost me some gas.
Yeah, so I think you can check. I think there's a
checker. There's like a demo where you can see what you're eligible for. That's free. To actually claim it. and mint it. It's like a 3-step process. The second step was a little confusing to me because it's actually a send. So you're actually sending 0.005 ETH to somebody. So that was a little odd to me because
So like some chain link thing or something.
Yeah, something like that. Right.
Well, it has
But
that
whatever.
first eligibility check.
Yeah, there's that, which was depending on, like when I was looking at it, it's like I waited because the gas was like $18 or something for the first step. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And then I waited. I waited on my wait. I waited to claim my weight until the gas was better. But I did see something on here that I ran into myself today from Wake Dog, that PayPal is now integrated into MetaMask. But what gave me pause, because I needed some ETH today, and it's like I didn't want to screw around with Coinbase or Gemini or whatever. So I thought, well, I'll just do it through the wallet and through was it Ramp or Transact or one of those, or MoonPay, what the various. But like one of the ways to pay I noticed was PayPal. I'm like, oh, well, let me try that, because it's like I always forget which one I can do, because it's like I think there's certain credit cards that let you do it and others that don't, or debit cards if it's not a Visa, it won't let you. I don't know. So I'm like, well, I'll just do PayPal. That seems easy. But then they want to do the KYC. So then it made me hesitate, because I'm like, well, wait a minute. PayPal already knows who I am, but PayPal doesn't know what my Ethereum addresses are. So do I really want to make that connection for somebody? So I stayed away from paying through PayPal. But to each their own.
There's
one
other.
I think it's good generally.
There's one other update that happened in MetaMask that I noticed maybe a week ago, and Richard just tweeted about it tonight.
He did.
He wanted to bring it to people's attention that with this new bridge feature that MetaMask has in the app, it is charging like an unreasonable fee, like 1% compared to your ability to get bridge functionality for like 0% or near 0% elsewhere. And so I find that pretty interesting. Of course, we know that Richard may be planning a wallet sacrifice, and part of the game theory there is that people might be willing to sacrifice for anything that he builds, that becomes something that is best in the industry, or that really stands out. He's got a track record there, but that things that generate fees are something that have a pretty good value proposition, just like PulseX. It generates fees. Also, it very well could be that a wallet, an RH wallet sacrifice, might be a fee generating type of thing. I was also thinking to myself earlier today, even before Richard tweeted that, I was thinking to myself, having seen the bridge button in MetaMask and suspecting that those assholes at MetaMask would be like charging an unreasonable fee. It made me wonder if Richard might do a sacrifice for a bridge, but from what I know, we're getting a bridge for free.
Yeah, seems like it's going to be ready at launch.
PulseRamp.com.
Yep.
And but it would be pretty fascinating too if that was our foot in the door. If MetaMask lists PulseChain as one of the chains that they provide bridging services to, and if they are charging 1%, and people who do more research, they can use PulseRamp for free, then it seems like a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would do a sacrifice for the bridge if I got a allocation of the tokens and they got a allocation of the fees.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like the biggest thing that's going to be going on from like now on is what's it called? Profit sharing. Where the whatever thing you're using is going to have it's going to be taking fees from people. You're going to be able to maybe, it's like the internet money wallet where you get a portion of their coins, all the fees that they collect, whoever has the coins gets those fees. And I feel like that's going to be the model for everything going forward.
I wonder if I wonder what the timeline is for the wallet.
I don't know. I saw some suspicious conspiracy tweets today
Uh-oh.
about it. Some
Do
things
tell.
that said,
What did they say?
tell.
just some inferences from between hexologist and Richard regarding freedom to transact and when SAC.
Hmm.
Total like this is not true, right? I mean, this is like super rumor. Bill,
Connecting the dots.
Just connecting the dots, Briz, and I wasn't drinking or nothing. I was just connecting the dots. Just bringing them together.
Did Richard say we may have a chance to sacrifice, and people are thinking it'll happen in May then?
Oh Lord.
I don't know. I heard December,
Speculation
but it might have been December. I don't know.
I really do think that could be part of, a glorious plan that PulseChain launch, first PulseChain launches.
Yep.
And then we saw in the last two sacrifices that it created a great scarcity in Hex when people were buying Hex and sacrificing. It was incredible. I think it was like a third, or was it a third for each sack or something, of like the amount of user controlled coins that disappeared. Just an incredible amount of Hex that got taken off the market. And that's part of how you were able to get the price not going below 1.7 cents. It's part of how you got the price to go up to 55 cents in the first place. Was sacrificing, was people time locking, was nightly dumping his 150 million coins, outrage marketing version 1, version 2, version 3. So it's I'm really bullish on any future sacrifices, because I think that that it's like a win-win almost.
Did you guys see the Tetra airdrop?
Yeah, I just saw your link there. I haven't. I'm not familiar.
I kind of like the way that they have their claiming set up. It's pretty cool because all you have to do is take your public address and go to their website and kind of put it in. And now those people are the ones who will be getting the airdrop. And
So I
it's
can
kinda
take
smart.
your address and plug it in,
Yep.
and then you'll get it, and I won't.
Yep. Exactly. As
Wow.
long as the address sacrificed for PulseX.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
So if you
there's not-
sacrificed for PulseX, you
Yes.
get free Tetra.
Got it, but I don't have to claim it. Like,
Well,
I
you
just
have to claim it, yeah.
But I mean, like Maddie said, like
Yeah.
someone else could put an address in, and then that's effectively a claim.
I wouldn't rely on someone else putting your public
no, of
address
course
in
not.
there.
Well, I just didn't know if it was like a free function, I guess is what I'm getting at, or you have to like claim it and there's a gas fee.
No, it's 100% like no gas or nothing.
Oh, right on.
You just go to their
So then there's no
website and you
risk.
enter in your public address, and
Right
it just basically puts your address on a list,
Right
and
on.
then they'll send that out to people, I guess.
On
Sweet.
Pulse.
But it's great because now it's like, those guys, they're not just sending it to everybody who sacrificed for PulseX. They're only sending it to the people who sacrificed and are interested.
Yeah. Are you
Thanks for the heads up, man. Appreciate it.
You guys must be aware of Tetra. Maybe Maddie is not. So Tetra, think this. It's a protocol, and I'm going to bastardize the hell out of this discussion, but it's a protocol that allows you to construct your own bot, basically. Just sake of argument, you can connect using this protocol multiple smart contracts. And so that could be very complex, or it could be very simple. It could be just as simple as, defining rules of action and price drops here, go buy this. It drops there, go buy that, right? Or go swap this, go swap that. But it's that type of protocol. So I guess at the moment we're not endorsing it. I'm just saying that it's out there, right? We're just saying that it's out there, and there's an airdrop for that. And the guy that's it's Stu Man is the guy who has been building that. And yeah. So this might be something.
Have they gone to Pulse Police yet?
I think they're working on it as well as auditing. I don't know how far they've gone. Bruce, you might know.
I don't know.
I was just logging in over there to see if there was anything about it.
But yeah, they're kind of like they're doing kind of something similar to Power City, to where you're gonna have all this circular stuff going on, and apparently with the Tetra, you can tell it to claim your hex on a certain day and time. You know, say you can have it automated to claim your hedron and then end your hex stake and kind of do all that stuff automatically. So I'm interested to see how it actually ends up working. But
yeah, it looks like Stu just requested a review in Pulse chat back on March 31st. It looks like. So
cool.
Yeah, so
it'll be pretty awesome if it carries through the way I think it will. You know,
more boats.
More boats. Where's my lamb boat? When lamb boat? Hey, here's a different topic for you guys. You see the average length for staking continues to rise. Did you see that?
No.
At least according to Hex Daily Stats. I haven't gone and checked it, but it seems reasonable.
My staker app looks a bit different, so I can't find it anymore.
Yeah, fine. 6.91 years. Does that sound familiar to anybody? That's what it says.
We never got up to 7.
6.9. We're getting close. But fun fact, man. Fun fact. Out of the top 100 holders, you know, the top 100 miners, 30% of them have shorter averages than that. That means 30% of them, if you're mining for longer than that average, you're mining longer than 30% of all the whales and sharkies out there, probably.
All right.
Pretty good. Gaining on them.
Cool.
Yeah, so we had gotten up to 6.75 a while back, and then it had dropped, and now it's back up beyond that. So that's good to see. There's like, yeah, there's for a long time there was almost like an escape velocity thing going on where the average stake length was going faster than almost the amount of time that was passing, and so it had accelerated and then kind of stalled, and now to see it creeping up again and reaching all-time highs, that's something I wasn't aware of, and that's super exciting. It means people believe in the system, they're willing to prove it.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. But there's a lot more behind that number and data than just putting that number up there. But it's a nice indicator. I like that it's a nice indicator because what it's showing us is the average staking length of all the open stakes. And I like that. I like that a lot because it is showing that there's some stickiness to it, and there are people who are willing to back up their belief in Hex by mining for very long periods of time. I think we're all some of those people. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do think to get at the real data, man, you got to scratch the surface, just scratching the surface. There's a lot behind that.
Well, you found something cool this week.
I did. I found a quarter.
What'd you find?
It was with a dime and a nickel. I picked them up. I think Maddie's referring to. What are you referring to, Maddie? That I.
You posted a puzzle online. You were like, "What do you see here?" You were like, "Here's what I see."
Yeah.
You didn't say what you saw.
No, I didn't really say. What did you see? Did you have that? You want to pull it up? You want me to grab it?
If you want to pull it up, I don't have it in front of me, but I studied it because I didn't know at first. I accepted the puzzle, and then I noticed what it was, and it was pretty striking. Like, this is not what I would have expected from the top 10 wallets in the all-in indicator of TShare longevity.
So now we got to tell the story about what happened. I'm trying to find the tweet that started the whole thing. It's all positive, right? But I just went a little bit deeper than just that.
Can I teach people, because we have 245 people watching? I would love to just every once in a while give people tips on how to become like a Twitter power user. So look, there's some valuable stuff out there, and like the way that people like Eric Wall, they can just like bring up old tweets. They can, it's clear they have some sort of superpower. Well, guess what? There is a way to easily search for exactly what tweet you're looking for. And you just need to know the syntax, which can be a little bit hard to remember, but I know Richard taught people this at one point. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to the search bar on Twitter, and what you're going to start off putting is you're going to put FROM : and then in this case, if I'm looking for something from me, I would put at Maddie Allen, and then I would type the word, let's say TShare, right, with a space in between those. So like from : at whoever you're searching, and it has to be what their at symbol is, right? Their handle, not their display name. So it's their handle that you want to put there in the search box, and then I could search. Another thing I could search for if I really wanted to find something, I could type 0.017, because that was the all-time low of Hex, and I could see if I ever tweeted that. Sure enough, it's the first thing that comes up. It's the only thing that comes up on my screen. And so if you guys didn't know that you can search this way, I find it to be a really powerful thing to be able to basically what you're able to do once you find the tweet that you're looking for. What you can do is you can go to this arrow down here, and you can say copy link to tweet. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you actually like a track. It's like tracking what device you're using. So I always like to delete the tracking info. And so when I paste it in, so you can make a new tweet. Whenever you paste in an old tweet to a new tweet, then it's going to show up like as a connected tweet. So I can go here, and then I would like, oh, this tracking didn't really put in the full tracking tag, but if I had done it on mobile, it would have, and sometimes in the browser it does. And so then I would I'd type out whatever I'm typing out and hit tweet. But that's a really powerful thing, whether you're searching for something that Richard said or something that you said. Hopefully that's helpful to people.
Yeah, it's a nice tool.
It is. I was having a hard time searching for my tweet.
Did you find it?
I did.
Cool.
You see it? So this started with Coast making a comment to Steph about the Staker app, and which is positive, not a negative comment at all. And so in that interaction, they were saying, hey, interesting hex fact: the higher the staking league, the longer the average stake duration. Right. And so then I happened to be working on this information with All In and Maddie All In. And so I just said, here's some more data to ponder. Do you see what I see? And so if we pull this up, Maddie, what it is I had added the average staking link next to the TShares that they have. And also the remaining days, remaining link that they have in yours as well, and their counts. And so, what did you take back from looking at this information?
So the first thing that jumped out at me on this is I'm looking at this column. That's the second one from the right, and it says TShare days remaining, and so that's a multiplier of how many days are left in each of these sharks and whales stakes times the number of TShares that they have. So it's basically saying what their payout is, not just their TShare count, but it's saying what their TShare days or TShare longevity is in days. And the first thing I saw is that there is a shark out there that has almost double the number of TShare days as a whale does.
Yeah, I didn't look at that, but I see it. Yeah.
That's number 16. So shark, well, the person who has the 16th highest TShare day count, they actually have more TShare days now than the person who's ranked 14th, who's actually in the whale category, who's the second smallest the
tiniest whale.
Yeah, the tiniest whale is actually almost only half as big as one of these sharks.
Yeah. And so what jumped out to me when I saw it, and I was looking at it, I saw those. Well, I didn't exactly pick that out and make that comparison, but I saw that there was differences, right? But also the average time remaining, and what's there. So what I just tell you, 6.9 is the average, in years, and we've got 6.56 towards the top, 5.3, 6.14, 2.49, 0.64 that shark, right? So what's going to happen? Well, that shark is either going to have to take action or not, right? Either the shark's going to have to take action to add more fiat back in or go out longer in order to maintain that position. Otherwise, sometime within the next year or so, you'll see that position will drop off and somebody else will take their place. And here's the thing is it's inevitable for all of us. It's inevitable, right? You cannot, and this is why I love the HEX system in this way. You cannot stop it. It's going to happen. Right. So all of us, let's say everybody watching, there's a whole bunch of you guys and they're watching these four guys up and they're like, hey, this guy's just full of crap. They got in early, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? In 4 years, we ain't going to be looking too pretty unless we can put more and doubling down because we'll be out. You just cannot maintain position. Like I suppose there's some sort of weird situation where maybe everybody decided they're gonna exit. That ain't gonna happen, right? And so all of us are on a timetable where, we have to share, man. You have to share, and you have to share those TShares, baby. Can't keep them. Can't keep them.
Have we already passed the point where somebody who staked at the beginning, if they had a stake come out, that they would not be able to get the same number of TShares even if they do the max length?
We got years to go for that, and that's a moving target.
But the thing that we have passed already is, if let's say you staked for 3.5 years, now if you stake for 3.5 years, you can't get the same number of TShares.
Oh God, by a large.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too.
Yeah. 27, I think maybe in 27 we'll start seeing the first stakes come out that even if you go Quattro Cinco, you can't get more TShares.
I think I did the math, and I had a stake come out recently, so it's like a 2-year long stake, and for me to get the same amount of TShares, I think I had to restake it like 7 years.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising at all.
No.
Nice. So that's the trade-off. Nice. Yeah.
I want those TShares back. Richard, I want those TShares back.
Yeah, the big strategy right now, dude, is to figure out how to get your hands on as many stakes out 15 years as possible. That's and build the post apocalyptic ladder, right? Which is the longest ladder possible, is be out 15 years. And if you're thinking about that, right? Like be the whale,
I made a different decision this past year compared to the year before in continuing my staking ladder, I decided, knowing what I know now, that I could no longer let myself basically do a 15-year stake so that it lands on my birthday. Those days are over. I have to go for the
Longer.
Quattro Cinco. And it's just a matter of maybe I'll have one T-share on my birthday, and then the rest of the T-shares, they need to go do their job, because with these longer stakes, it's not 0.2 years. It's not going to be like what 0.2 years is to 15.2 years. That's not the ratio of how much I'm leaving on the table. It's actually far greater than that, because of how much the T-share rate changes over that duration of time. Comparing 15 years to 15.2 is turns out to be a big difference. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if because of how the compound interest function works, I wouldn't, we could do the math and we could figure out exactly how much that of a difference that would make. But I changed my strategy this past year.
Makes sense.
I have something that this is pretty cool. I'll show this to you. I'll pull it up in a moment here and share it out. Nothing like me saying something then not having it ready, right?
Somebody asked, has RH actually been seen live since PulseCon? Yeah, duh. At the HEX conference, I talked to him for an hour. So if you think he's dead or you're trying to start some weird rumor, no, it's just not true.
It's all FUD, man.
But he hasn't streamed on his channel live, I saw somebody say, in 9 months. However, he did post the HEX conference footage on his channel just 3 months ago.
Oh, I've been so busy. I forget if I shared this with you or not, Maddie.
Let's take a look.
I've been doing.
You ready for me to add it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
I don't know if did we talk about this last week? I don't know if we did it. I did a stream. Maybe it was last Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday for a couple hours and talked about this. So I won't get too deep into it with everybody, but this is just looking at end-to-end staking. Pick a number of days, 10 days, right? And you're going to stake between 4.8 and 2038. And so every 10 days you'll stake, and then you take a day off, right? And then 10 days and you stake. And so that's what's happening over here on the left. And we can look at that. But what I really came over for was this HEX estimated base ROI, and this is the ROI table at the moment, going from 1 day out to 15.2 years, right? Which is the Quattro Cinco, and the APY that the rewards are at this point. And I'll probably end up doing another stream about this to kind of go through and explain to people the different, maybe have some interaction too on this about it. But you get very low ROI for a 1 day stake, or even mining for 30 days, and just trying to build out the case for why laddering makes sense. So let's look at this. I have we can go up to a million HEX, right, on this calculator.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, let's pick 30 days. We're going to say 30 days, right?
I like those numbers.
And let's go to today's date, which is the 11th. We're going to start on the 11th of April. I'll take a moment for this thing to recalculate it, because it's got a lot of numbers. So you can see the little things running at the bottom. So if we were going to mine, 1 million HEX for 30 days, end to end, from now out to Quattro Cinco, that would be 179 miner instances, right? So you would end up staking 179 times. Your starting T-shares would be 37.87.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? That just makes me feel so bad. Like every time I see that
number,
I'm like, that is like too low. I'm like, I always think about that. I'm like, oh my God. But over that period of time, your T-shares would drop all the way down to 7 T-shares over 15 years. So that's how much of it would be eaten. And in fact, you would be minus 80% on your TShares by the time you got to your last stake, minus 80%. Now, what's crazy about this is I thought that was, I don't know what I thought. I thought that would be more, right? But I also found that if you pick other time frames, it's pretty similar. You still lose right in that 80-90% range of all your T-share power. But here's the kicker. You go over here to the right and you look at your average APY, you know, for that entire time, it's 3.89%. Your ROI is 57% over 15 years by doing 30-day stakes end to end. 57%. That's not per year. That's over 15 years, right? Which is where this 3% number comes from.
Okay.
Now remember, of course, when you go end to end, you miss a day of yield, right?
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of people forget. So let's compare that to a Quattro Cinco now. So we're at 57% over here total ROI.
It's now 300.
Oh, it's a little bit more than that, but yeah, it'll be high. So let's take a moment to calculate on the fly. 498%. Okay. Now, of course, these are pretty extreme examples. 30
That seems
days
about right.
It is right, but that's without price. That's without price appreciation, of course, or price depreciation.
Does that include penalties?
No, does not, because well, I guess it depends. I use the 180-day moving average for this calculation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what the future payouts will be, and that could be another thing to overlay into this, but this is just assuming we stayed where we're at now. But here's the thing, is that very, very extreme examples. We're talking about 30 days, and then we're talking about Quattro Cinco, right? So kind of almost polar opposites. 1%, you know, one day gets it even lower. 50%, 500%, right? I mean, that's the kind of difference in ROI you're talking about over that period of time. And so the part 2 of this
seems about right.
Yeah, it is, you know, from what our numbers. Part 2 of this, what I'll do is I'll look at what laddering will look like instead, you know. And so this isn't a waterfall. What I put up on the screen isn't a waterfall type of event. Like today I'm going to stake 15 times for 15 years, you know, so I have a rung at each one. That will give you a very different result, you know, if I show that. So I shifted here just to show you the difference between a year and the Quattro Cinco. I put up the 365 and still 74%. And you would, you know, still down here instead of 500%.
Yeah.
But you would end up with 16 different miner instances. But you still end up with about the minus 80% on the T-shares by the time you're done. So there's some predictable stuff.
Because of the T-share rate going up.
Yeah, because the T-share rate's going up. Your power to get more T-shares is diminished.
What percentage do you go down in T-shares if you do like the single Quattro Cinco?
You go down, it might be higher. Let's say we'll take a
just
second.
0.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's 0, but
because that's what you're comparing it to on the others.
Let me cheat a little bit. So let's go back.
Okay.
Let it do its thing. It'll give us kind of an idea. I went back in time a little bit. You still would lose about 86%.
Because the T-share rate goes up.
Yeah, it just keeps going up, right? So in 15 years, we're assuming the T-share rate is going to be 132,000.
Sweet.
You know.
Damn.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I had gone back and done this. So it goes all the way back. I could start at the beginning and go forward. But it's pretty cool after big payday. That is, you just kind of play with those numbers a little bit and show. Because I think there's valid strategies for people to be mining short. So I don't want to take away from that, because I do some of that sometimes, and there's some other people do that. So I don't want to say it's not valid to do short, but it would seem to me that if I had a substantial amount of hex, depending on what I'm doing with it and why I'm doing the short, even a shorter, you know, like right now I have, I don't know, let's say I had 3 million. You know, it would make more sense to go 30, 60, 90 with $1 million each, because you get the extra yield, you know, rather than 3 million for this month. So it depends on the usage, of course. Maybe some people don't know, but you clearly will earn a very good amount more if you ladder over a year rather than do a 30. And that also, I'll prove that out too. But
I think this is really important, and I think it's something we'll be able to come back to as well in the future when we all think about it more. But it's like that's what you'd imagine a compound interest function doing. Is it's paying 10 times more if you're locked up the whole time, because it's a exponential function, and so it's not that each day you wait you get paid equally. It's it's longer pays more each day. And that's how the system is designed. And so to be able to model this out, the numbers aren't exact, but even having something I proved in when we were thinking about having Smart Vault do some sort of incentive by letting people have an early payday. I was modeling with the Hex data how many people have paid an early end stake penalty, which would have been a similar type of game theory. And it was shocking to me how valuable even getting an extra 2% that's paid in Hex over time. It was like you could estimate over time that could be worth more than your initial investment very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly. Just the 2% that you're getting each year from early end stakes.
Yeah, I agree. I call it on my streams, boil the frog, because on the surface we're number biased on a lot of stuff, and on the surface, it doesn't seem like a lot. It's like, yeah, that's only $30, more, right? Until you multiply it by 1,000.
Yeah.
And then by a factor of 3 because of yield, and all of a sudden it's $100,000 fiat, right? And those types of things, I'm kind of exaggerating, but I mean that's like, why else would we have been throwing around 100,000s of hex and giving them to the dog and the postman, and sending them as tips and stuff, right? Because we didn't have a clear understanding of what that was then, just like people don't have a clear understanding of what 100 hex is worth today, right? It's kind of what you're getting at, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's just part of that appreciation going up. But
and another thing that in terms of strategy and game theory that comes to mind in this scenario that you've detailed is, let's say that somebody put in $1,000 into Hex early on. Let's say now they have 10 million Hex liquid, and let's say that they don't need it for whatever reason. Maybe they got rich off of making 1,000 Tornado Cash addresses and like getting that airdrop or something, right? And now they're set for life. But what are they going to do with that Hex? Well, it's really interesting to me that, like, let's say they have that as their backup savings. Well, their backup savings is kind of draining out 10x, or essentially it's draining out 10x compared to what it could be growing if it was locked the entire time. Now, having your coins locked the entire time is that's a major disadvantage in terms of not being able to sell, because shorter pays faster, and sometimes you need a fast payment to make your bills and make ends meet. It's also interesting to me that I think there are certain situations where if you serve a certain amount of your time, then even with the emergency ends, even if you lost half your, even if you lost half your principal, if you had served enough time, you might have made up for it by just having been locked. And so people, I think what this data means is that like people who are wanting to save their, have their savings mechanism be HEX, it makes you really think about how much liquid you're going to hold on to, because there's every incentive, like you said, to make a staking ladder or to, to pay your future self today and then figure out what you're going to do tomorrow. Like Kareem would say, like he was using staking as a strategy to keep himself motivated and productive in life. He said, I don't want to retire. I'm not ready for that. He said, I want to stay hungry. I want to stay motivated to work. And so that's why he was sending so much out as far as he could and achieving his position once he understood the system.
Yeah, I think that was awesome, actually, that he did it that way. It's very similar, right, to FIRE approach, right? Financial independence, retire early, and other things that we need to fixate on to, move forward, right? Whether it's health or other things, right? You need that kind of that kind of focus sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Not right for everybody to time lock all their money, but it's really interesting the incentives here that are motivating people to do it. And of course, you guys are I hope we'll get to see the journey of what Time Pays Me does, because that's got a different philosophy. Time Pays Me is trying to take a different perspective than paying people to lock up their funds. And I think that there's a group of people in the world who they hear crypto, they think scam. They hear yield in crypto, they hear double scam. But if they had a good experience in crypto, if they had a good experience with time locking and not getting hacked and all that good kind of stuff, that might prepare them for the part of their journey where they do appreciate the nuances here of what HEX staking means. And if HEX can be the ultimate destination for people to get to in their crypto journey to store value over time in a way that, like, just time locking your money, it has the benefit of, like, it doesn't drag on the economy as much. Like, if everybody in the world time locked some part of their savings, if they had any, if people weren't even incentivized to have a savings in the first place, which they're not because of inflation, but if people were even incentivized to have a savings and people delayed gratification, well, you can imagine that, in the future, 5 or 10 years from now, there's going to be more people working. There's going to be more technology making things cheaper, right? And so if we compare the accounting, which is what money is, versus like the goods and services, time locking is like a really, really, really bullish thing for humanity, I believe. And so the fact that HEX pays yield to incentivize people to do that, I think is, that's what makes it the endpoint.
The staking ladders are the key. It's 100% the way to go.
It is. It is. The man told us that himself. If I was doing this, he said, Richard Hart, I would build a staking ladder, and I would have HEX come out over a period of time because it gets you the best of all worlds, right? He did say that. Maybe not those words. Hey, Z in the chat was asking a good question, which I think is very important. This is the whole kind of like centers around the meat is always on the bone type of thing. Maybe you guys can comment on this. Absolutely, 100%. 100% people will be buying and staking HEX.
Go ahead and read the comment, if you would.
It says, I wonder if people will even stake when HEX is 125,000 HEX per T-share. And HEX is $5. Of course they'll do it.
Of course they will.
Of course they will. Now, the thing is right, that's what I mean. It's kind of like a biased thought, right? Number-wise, like, you're like, that's ridiculous, right? Because you can remember what you could do today, but it's not about today or yesterday, it's about then. So in the future, in particular, right, if that's where yield can be generated, that's going to drive it.
Yeah, you just got to remember, no matter the price or the rate of the shares, it's still going to generate yield at a certain percentage. Like right now, if you do a 1 year stake, you're going to get 10% for that year. So even if it was at $5 and 125,000 per T share, you're still getting 10% yield a year. So, you know, if you have if you stick to 100K, you can expect to make maybe about $10,000 in Hex because it's generating 10%. But who wants Pizza Fridays to come back?
Pizza Friday.
Someone nominated me for student council, and that's my first promise. I want
Do
to
we
bring
get
back.
like a pin to put on our clothing that says like Brisology for? I thought this was a stream about Richard being president. Now you want to be
Yeah,
president?
no, we went
No, I want to be
way
student
off the trail.
council.
Okay.
So,
You know, there's another interesting twist on this PLSX story, you know, because it being deflationary, that's similar to getting yield in a sense that the supply is decreasing, the demand is doing whatever the demand does, but it's transferring, you know, the yield that you're getting directly in to the price of the coin. And if you're using time pays me to time lock your Pulse X, then you're putting yourself into a position where, you know, as long as people are using Pulse X DEX, which if it has the highest amount of liquidity, if FixerBot is picking it to be like where the liquidity goes and stays forever, in a sense, which we don't know that yet or not, but it's curious when you compare like how Hex looks paying its yield and how PulseX would look in a time lapse manner. I think they're still different, you know, different enough, but it's curious to me just from the psychological aspect of what motivates people. Are there people that'll be motivated by having yields one way versus a different way? You see what I'm saying?
yeah. Zohan in the chat was saying, will the price be sustainable? Says, will the amount of sell pressure in the future be sustainable when hundreds of millions of dollars are coming out of stakes? And yeah, it will be, because just because the stakes are ending does not mean that they're going to be dumping all of that hex. A lot of it is probably going to get restaked and re-rolled, and it'll go out into the future. And so, yeah, don't worry about it.
Well, something I thought about earlier today was, you know, because there's always that argument about, like, I saw somebody tweeting about like how much economic energy it's going to take to get Hex to this or that, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, wait a minute. It's like, have you been around for a bull market? Do you know how those cycles work? And you know, when you see, and if you believe in crypto and you believe things like Bitcoin and Ethereum are gonna go to new all-time highs and considerably higher all-time highs, you know, maybe not 100x, but you know, even if it's a 10x, think of the economic energy that's in Bitcoin, even going back to $70,000. How many dollars are we talking about? Same with Ethereum. If Ethereum goes to 8,000 or 18,000, like I've seen people talking about, think of the economic energy in that. And as people cycle out of those things and are looking for other investments that have better tokenomics, better yield, better pumpamentals, better infrastructure in the way of another L1 in the RH ecosystem coins, that's a lot of money coming in. So instead of people being so focused on, you know, oh, and as these hex stakes get to be X number of dollars or whatever, all these people are going to dump out. There's going to be that much more money out there at that point for people to be buying it up. You know, so just I mean, look at our charts. It's like anytime you see any significant dump, there's somebody there to buy it. It's like today. It's like we wicked down to like just below 7 cents, you know, and there were people there to buy it. You know, I snapped up a little bit of that. And
You were there?
There's a lot bigger fish out there in the sea that are hungry to buy any dip that comes along, right? So, so yeah, it's like you got to look at the broader picture, and it's not just what could be sold, but the economic energy that's going to be out there in crypto already to be buying and to be buying, things that are attractive. And something like Hex with 3 times, 3 years of flawless 100% uptime, and just humming along, simple and effective. To me, I mean, not financial advice, obviously. Like, I mean, I'm just a talking head on the internet, but for me, it's that's my retirement. I mean, that's the bulk of my investment is in Hex and a staking ladder. So I mean, do your own research,
Yeah, it only took like 300,000 buyers to get the Hex to where it is now, and so that's a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the number of stakers, it tells an even scarcer story of how many people had to commit to not selling, and what maybe what their ratio was compared to user controlled coins. Hex would not be where it is today, I don't think, without a lot of things going right, and with and so I think it's a miracle any of this stuff works. I think it's a miracle that crypto doesn't go to zero, because it breaks every day. But
Right.
it only takes so much disbelief, and then then you can realize everybody who gets into crypto is making a sacrifice, because there is no guarantee. It's the opposite. It's quite the opposite. It's like, you want to be your own bank, you have less guarantees now in a lot of ways. But
Yeah.
the thing that I don't have to worry about is somebody turning off my Ethereum address, and that's pretty cool. And we're scaling more towards freedom. When you think about, I say nobody can turn off my Ethereum address, but then Vitalik went in and he made the fees higher for Hex unstaking. And so in a way, PulseChain is necessary for us to have more control over, a fair system, low fees.
Don't forget about the whole Infura debacle,
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
where they're like white listing addresses and blacklisting others. So they could potentially turn off your Ethereum address.
Well, I think you'd have to switch to a different provider in that case. But yeah, they can make it difficult to access your crypto.
Yeah.
And
But I'm sorry, 100%. You're totally right. That is the reason why we need PulseChain, though, is because of this stuff.
Because there's a segment in Mastering Bitcoin which has the same type of protocol that Ethereum does. Brisology and we could use carrier pigeons to sign transactions that we write out by hand. We could use smoke signals, and that's actually one of my goals in the next 15 years, is to do a crypto transaction through smoke signal.
We could probably get it done.
One of these
figure
days.
it out.
Yeah.
We could build a computer inside of Minecraft and transact that way.
Yeah.
A myriad of opportunities.
So, did you guys end up? Has anyone here? I figured maybe only one maybe is Toby, but has anyone here got a picture with Richard?
No.
I have not. No,
I haven't either.
haven't met him in person yet.
Well, wait. I was on stream with him, and so I think we were
Ooh,
both
that's
on
true.
the screen at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's as close as I've gotten.
Yeah, I've been on stream with him a few times. So I was pretty
We
fortunate.
got the goosebumps.
I asked because Richard did a tweet
Yeah, that was
earlier
pretty cool. Yeah, those
asking
pictures.
for pictures of people next to him with him.
That thread's
Oh.
actually really fun.
I
to look
missed
through.
that one. I should do that. I was on this Matty Allen conference thing,
Yeah.
and I got a chance to talk.
There's
to
some
Richard.
pretty funny ones. people shrunk themselves and put themselves next to Richard.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can shrink yourself and put him on a shoulder like one of the Beanie Babies, right? Just like I've got a Matty Allen over here and a Toby Wan over here.
Well, there's
That's right.
eventually the Hex toys will be coming out, right?
Oh,
So
he
you
said
can have
real
your-
life. No, can't do it.
So again, I used the search function using the advanced power user mode where I put from : at Richard Hart win space picture, and that brought up the first result was what I was looking for. Here we can we could go down. Some people memed it. I love Super Hex. He's a great supporter because he'll go on Twitter and he'll retweet stuff that we're doing, getting the word out, and that's really important. And he doesn't have to do that, just like none of you have to do that. But we really appreciate it when you do. So thanks for getting the word out. And
He's a great Hexagon.
Yeah, he shows up.
Really
for
great
other
Hexagon.
creators.
Really great.
Well, he was the star of the Hexaco music video, man. It's like I put that out and I asked everyone, it's like, hey, you just want to sing along, dance along for a few seconds, whatever. He did the whole song, like walking down a beach in like Thailand, and like he saved the whole project. It's like he was the core of it. But yeah, he's awesome and really nice guy. I got to meet him in Vegas. Super nice, very intelligent guy.
Yeah, I've met him too. He's great. Yeah. And he really does have that vehicle too. He's super rich from Hex.
He's made some money.
Okay, that's another bad example, but great picture. There were a lot of people. Look, I think Crypto Stylist was watching earlier today when I was streaming with Steph. So she was in real life with Richard, and you got Trevor, who he's the guy who got William Shatner to retweet something about Richard calling out fake Satoshi.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Shatner has like 2.5 million subs on Twitter.
I love Shatner. He's great.
And then here's Dollar Cost Crypto.
Yeah.
Looks like they're at a strip club with Richard. That looks fun. And Funding Jim, of course, he's got a lot of favorites of him and Richard going on Fresh and Fit, having dinner.
Know that's a strip club. They could just be tipping the waitress at the local bistro.
He could be making it rain at Applebee's.
Yeah, that could be Applebee's.
There's dollars like on the ground. There's an ice bucket in front of them. They're sitting on a black leather couch. Okay, Applebee's, got it. Sticker guy, shout out to him.
Dude, I love that kid so much. And you know, he playing around on PulseChain, he created his own token, and he is the only holder of the token, and has pumped the price to over $10 million.
Oh yeah, I said that. I said something about that earlier in the show, or maybe it was before we went live.
Or no, you mentioned it, but I didn't know if you talked about his token. But yeah, he's
if you listen to this like episode of the birth of Sticker Guy, basically Sticker Guy got his name because, well, he became a meme in the community because everybody was so upset that he kept asking Richard beginner questions. And everybody was excited. They wanted Richard to blow their minds with like new information. And so you can hear, I think even in this clip, everybody's like giving Sticker Guy a hard time. And then of course he became the MVP of volunteering at the Hex conference and helping me run all those for the past like 3 times. So shout out to him.
Also, that little GIF right there from Gary. I think that right there, that day was the beginning of Richard's outrage marketing, and he just wasn't as confident with himself, and so he didn't go full out. You know, he had like a nice black shirt, a nice blazer, jeans, and then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna wear these ridiculous moon boots. It's gonna be outrageous. And then eventually he found out. He's like, you know what? I gotta go the whole track outfit.
Yeah, dude. But it's one thing to It's one thing to be doing this kind of stuff like behind the camera. Like I can put my clown nose on. I got a clown nose here and I could be a clown for you and I put my hat on and all that. But it's a whole different thing when you're out with real people, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's not a costume party, yeah, yeah, you're gonna dress up, you know.
What I found striking about that exchange with him and Sticker Guy, that initial meeting, is just how kind and patient Richard was with him.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
to take all those questions and like to really give earnest answers.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like to me that was really cool. That was like a really heartfelt exchange between he and Sticker Guy, because you could tell that like Sticker Guy had he had real questions that he really wanted to fully understand, and Richard didn't mind having to break it down for him even in that setting and take, you know, a fair amount of time with him.
I remember
So,
him
I thought
like
it was very cool.
grilling Richard. Like I remember him actually like,
Oh yeah,
grilling him on
he
a
was
couple
pushing back
things.
on some of his answers
All
He's
the time.
But,
Yeah.
but what about this? But what about you
Yeah.
know? And Richard just patiently fielded the questions and answered them very thoroughly, and I love that little moment from that European tour.
For sure, for sure. And that was, I think that was like around the same week of, or the same month as the all-time high. And so, you know, that was
Yep.
a different,
also-
a different mood in crypto at that time, for
Mm.
sure.
It's also when he
September.
conceded that we had yet to hit the 10,000x. And
From
that
day
got
one
us-
price compared to
Right.
all-time low.
Right.
I remember.
Saying that there were however many more X's to go. So
Yeah,
it's-
he didn't
helps
say
a
how
bit.
soon though.
No. But we're
Hex
closer
Turbo.
now.
A lot of people saw
yeah.
Richard at the meetup that the Heist to
London.
Stakes did. That's pretty funny.
That's nice.
Well done too. That's good Photoshop.
Hey, Hexy bastard.
Yeah.
I like his shirt.
Hex greater than sex. That's funny.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like, you know, there's probably hundreds
ton, yeah.
here, and it's really cool because I looked and I'm following almost everybody because they all posted their pictures at different times, you know.
I was about to say like it looked like all the pictures are from the same
Oh,
event.
that's not a Hexagon. I don't think it's somebody who's like fresh and fit crew. Yeah. So lots of people in real life, right?
It's funny. I know some of these people.
Yeah.
Who's that
I know
short
that
guy?
I don't
Richard?
know. He's really short.
Yeah, he's not short in real life. Richard's tall.
When he had the moon boots on too, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. Give you a couple extra inches there, Mr. Cruz.
It's a good.
There's
pick.
a lot of tall Hexicans too.
Yeah.
You ain't kidding, man.
Yes, we are.
I'm short, man. I'm only 5'11" compared to some of these guys.
You're practically a midget.
I know, no kidding. Hey, that's no joke. When we were in Vegas, there were some tall people there.
I know. I'm 5'11", and I felt short amongst many of them.
I was like, oh, hi.
Bro, I'm 5'11". Are we all 5'11"?
Yeah, I guess.
Pretty much.
I guess that must be the
Brisology?
that must be the
Yeah.
standard.
How tall are you?
Five-
Brisoli's
5'11" when I bend down on one knee.
He's like 6'3". Brisology's a giant.
Oh man.
I didn't think we were going to be able to get him in that limo. We were in that stretch SUV after the tank thing, Maddie, in Vegas. Yeah.
I still remember the tank. That was fun.
That was a good day. That was a fun time. Yeah,
That was
good
wild.
stuff.
Now, for
And then
anyone
Expo's
wondering, I'm
coming up,
5'2",
5'2".
pretty much.
That's a lot of man packed in 5'2". But
Hexpo's coming up in Miami. The
Yeah.
tickets are no longer on sale, and you know, that's a good thing. So we got to get this merchandise ordered, and we're gonna show up strong.
I'm trying to get Briz to come with me, so you guys light him up on Twitter and in
That's
the chat.
awesome.
Twist his arm.
Yeah,
My
I
fiance
can't
come, so I got an extra.
I can't publicly say everybody who's going to be there, you know, because some people they would rather leave it up to people to see them when they're there. Or, everybody has different operational security needs. But yeah, I can say I'm super excited for the people that are coming. And I know that a lot of people are going to be able to participate when we do the 48-hour live stream with everybody around the world getting to show up, and run the stream for an hour. And so it's going to be really, really fun. It's not exactly going to be a conference. So it'll be a different spin on like having everybody, dropping in.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Look
planning
forward
on
to
being
that.
there, so I don't have my plane ticket yet, but
And
I'm 90% sure I'm going to be there.
and I was sure to get a location to set up a YouTube studio across the street from the Bitcoin conference. And so we're gonna vampire them in person, online, in the mail, at the gas pump with like stickers, and it's everywhere you go. There's somebody onboarding people and representing Hex.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And see if Briz comes, he could troll the Bitcoin guys with me.
You guys really are going to be
teasing.
impressed. You're going to be impressed with the people who you meet there because they're
yeah.
all so awesome and open-minded. There were a lot of people, they didn't like Hex. Then I met them, and now they tell me that they tune in to some of these streams.
Sweet.
Like, they're more invested now because they had that personal touch, because they can see, they can see that we're an impressive community once they once they get past the rough edges.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, Maddie, right? Generally, right? I just don't think that everyone's just against us. A lot of people just don't know. And it's like
Humble raid, I like that.
yeah, who was the dude? Somebody else sent out the clip. I sent the clip out to the altcoin daily dude. Was I think it was altcoin daily. But anyways, one of these composite ones with Ben Cohen was on.
Yep.
Last couple of days, and they were on with Ivan. Was it Ben and Ivan, or am I mixing up who was who? Well, anyways, Ivan was part of the conversation, and he was talking to two other guys. So it's probably a different stream. I don't think Cohen was on that. And anyways, he brought up Pulse and Hex, and one of the guys says, I really don't know what that's about. I'd never really heard of it. And a lot of people in our community commented, how could you not hear about it? Da, 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 da. Well, you know what? It's a big world, man. It's a big world. Everybody can't have heard about Hex, right? It just isn't there yet. So how do they hear about it? They hear about it through even Bitcoiners, right? They wouldn't have heard about it. It just isn't on the radar. So the only way they can hear about it is by reaching out and talking to them about it.
Yeah, and even if they've heard about it, I think it makes a big difference. When crypto becomes real when you go to these meetups, and the way that I like to put it is you've digitized your life in one way or another, because you've been watching live streams in the bear market to keep your morale up. I did that even before Hex got invented. I was out there listening to Bitcoiners pull me through, those first bear markets. Then you come out the other side at a crypto event, and it's like you've digitized yourself, and now you come out physically on the other end, and it's just it's a really magical experience to like know that everybody else, you're surrounded by 10,000, 15,000 people, and they were all so excited by crypto that they spent $700 on their 2-day ticket, right?
Mm.
And all the expenses of going to Miami Beach, which is not cheap. These are people who are highly enthusiastic, and they're excited to meet you as somebody who they're meeting. Normally in life, we're surrounded by 100 people who don't care about crypto, and then there's maybe one other person we can talk to.
Yeah.
In this case, the ratio is flipped, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that stream, somebody wrote in chat that it was Invest Answers, not Ben. I think that might be right, but it was an Ivan stream that I was referencing. But
Honor Schwans.
yeah, that being said, there was a stream that Ben was on with some other guys, and they made, I swear to God, they said hex. They didn't mean to. I think it was like subliminal. They brought it up, and it kind of was in their psyche. Because I heard
That's
him
pretty
say,
cool.
I heard him say hex, and I heard him say it, then they had to change it. I should clip that.
When I saw the clip that you may be referring to with like Ivan on Tech, I had a different interpretation, or maybe I like looked at it a slightly different way. I think it's helpful though for us to understand the psychology of onboarding, because I like to say there's only two type of people in the world: the people who understand Hex now, and the people who will understand it in the future. But there are these two guys that had gone on Ivan on Tech, and they seem like they're all friends because they implied that they'd be doing like weekly live streams together. There was a fourth guy, he didn't make it that time. I'm new to watching Ivan. Like, I've been watching him ever since he started talking about Hex. I've been watching him for maybe like 3, 4, 6, 8 weeks, something like that. And he puts out a stream like pretty much in our time in the United States, it's in the middle of the night. So if you wake up and you want to hear what's going on in crypto, you can listen to his hour-long stream. Yep. But this was a different format where he was live streaming with like a couple other guys, and they had just gotten done talking about how they're profit maximalists. They like making money in crypto, and that's when Ivan chose to be like, all right, well, what about Hex? And PulseChain. The one guy, the dude who like used to shill FTX super hard, he took 2 steps back from his microphone. He took 2 steps back. Okay. The other guy, the Wolf of All Streets, he's got several 100,000 subscribers on Twitter. I think he's kind of a big deal, to some. And the look of disgust on this man's face was palpable, right? And there's a psychology to that. There's a reason why Bitcoiners and traders and stuff, they react to Hex in such a negative way. Well, they really do drink the Kool-Aid that Hex is a scam. You can even ask ChatGPT if Hex is a scam. It'll answer all your questions about why it's not accurately. But at the end of the day, there's also this thing going on where, like, because Richard used to be a Bitcoin maximalist, then he stabbed everybody in the back, right? By just like updating his worldview and like realizing, how Bitcoin wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Those guys got stuck behind, and now it's just interesting to me how at the Bitcoin conference itself, the organizers, they gatekeep people. Like, you're excommunicated from Bitcoin royalty, and they do have a pecking order. I went to a dinner with Safety and Amoose or whatever, and he's the one who wrote the Bitcoin standard. He's the economist that they always go to in Bitcoin. He hosted a dinner, and like Natalie Brunel was there. She was the one who was hosting the conference up on stage the whole time. This is last year. Pierre Richard was there. The dude who rips up dollar bills, what's his name?
Kaiser.
Max Kaiser was there. All these the dude that Richard had just destroyed in an interview. Richard had just destroyed this guy so bad. His name was like Alex or Alexander Spetsky, I think, or something. Anyway, Richard had just done an interview with him on the Bitcoin magazine channel that is affiliated with hosting the Bitcoin conference. And they took the stream down. They were so embarrassed. I saw this guy at dinner. He was getting yelled at by everybody, basically. And he was having a miserable time. All these guys, they almost cut off Robert Breedlove, one of their up-and-coming, one of their fastest-rising streamers who did a whole series with Michael Saylor. Like, Breedlove does a really good job. He does the What Is Money podcast. Ross Ulbricht's mom didn't get to talk. They canceled her talk last year because she had done an NFT project to help get her son out of prison.
No way.
These Bitcoin guys, these Bitcoin maxis are ruthless in how they enforce their maximalist culture. The reason I bring that up is like we see on the edges, we see the people who stream with Ivan, maybe they're not holding their breath that they're going to get called to speak at the Bitcoin conference, but the people who are a part of the network, who are a part of like the royalty, so to speak, like they're watching each other to see if somebody says something nice about Hex.
The Bitcoin Illuminati.
You know, that's a better name. Thank you.
Meow.
Right.
Well, Maddie, yeah, I chose to look at that more half full than half empty. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I understand
So
that's a reality.
So at the end of the day, I see that as massive upside because there's a lot of people who follow those people and they all still don't know. And the odds are that they're going to find out.
Right.
And so there's just massive upside, you know, it's like there's still so much gatekeeping and we're already this big and ChatGPT already figured it out. You know, humanity's right around the corner of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, I get pretty bullish listening to it. Not all the shills that are out there on the Bitcoin side, but the general crypto type stuff. I agree with so much about what they have to say.
I like it.
Because I've been involved for long enough that I've settled into my beliefs and my thoughts about stuff, and it all goes really well together until they suddenly decide that there's no value in the one that I like.
Mm.
Versus, of course, there's value in the one they like, right? Of course, but I mean, I find it to be disingenuous at times, right? I mean, if you're going to believe that crypto has value because people believe it has value, then it has value because people believe it has value. You can't just pick and choose and say, well, this community doesn't really believe that. Yeah, well, obviously they do. They do. There's a lot of other in the weeds arguments you could have, right, about this or that, rather than just being dismissive. Anyways, I think we're on the verge of seeing that 10x, 100x of people. So it's coming.
And then we'll get 100, or we'll get 100x the Maddies and the Toby ones and the ChrispyMan and Brisology. Like, that'll be pretty cool too.
I don't want to see 100 more Brisologies, guys.
That would be fun. That would be fun to see 100x, man. Again. Yeah. Well, a lot of us are building, right? I mean, we're all building stuff. We're getting ready, and it happens a lot of ways. Contributions coming in all sorts of different ways, but getting ready to be able to do it.
More boats.
So I should specify in case I was like unclear, like doom and gloom, but like it's only the 200 people at the top of the Bitcoin hierarchy who like care enough to like not like Hex, but the other 15,000 people who go to the conference, they are excited to hear about it. And I think
absolutely right.
The same story is what you're going to find online to a lesser degree is the people who aren't incentivized to be gatekeeping. They're open for having their mind changed or to learn. And then remember, every Bitcoiner out there, they're not time locked. So they can change their mind at any time and ditch Bitcoin. And the Hexicans, we've proven we're here to stay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I think we definitely lean that way from what I've seen, compared to all even the big guys you're talking about in Bitcoin. But what you're describing is power and money, right? I mean, that's what you're describing, right? There are, whether we like it or not, right? There's barriers to entry to be at the top of any pecking order.
Well, we're a vampire to them, right? Like everything is a vampire.
We're the vampire.
Right?
That's right, Briz.
Exactly.
We need 100 Briz vampires, man. We're good.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how they see it, So it's like, but that's the guys at the top that are so insular, Whereas like at the beginning of Maddie's talk about this, it's like he was saying how that personal interaction is what opened doors, and that's where meetups and things like this are such a great opportunity. And it's a captive audience. It's not like you're going to a conference. You're not going to a gun show. You're not going to, the porn convention in Vegas. You're going to a crypto convention. It's like the people that they're not no coiners. They're already in the ecosystem, so to speak. So the learning curve is already considerably better, and there's going to be plenty of people that are open minded to it. I mean, Briz is a Bitcoiner. I had Bitcoin at one point. I think everyone here had Bitcoin at one point if they don't still. And
I was a maxi.
And then you were a maxi, okay?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a whatever made money maxi, So I was like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, like you name it. I dabbled in a lot of it, but yeah, it's like, and then I found Hex, and it just, not only did it make sense, not only did I like the founder, but then it's proven itself over and over, So if we can have an opportunity to share that with other people, then that's how things go viral, right? Because it's just getting the word out and talking to different people about it and sharing information, right? So, but guys, I'm gonna have to bounce off of here. So
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple of evil glances.
You got any news for us?
I don't, unfortunately. I was gonna actually have Grant lunch with Grant today, or chat with him at least, and then it just didn't work out. I had some other stuff that took up the majority of the day, but we're going to talk tomorrow. So hopefully I will have an update.
Yeah.
Tell them to quit timing PulseChain. Launch it.
Yeah,
we know it's done.
We'll fire up the StreamYard, anytime. But then
Sure,
again, I know that they'll probably want to make any big announcement like themselves. So exciting. Very
but
very
I
cool.
was going to see if Grant might want to pop on with us sometime. So
that'd be great.
But hopefully there'll be some information they can share before too long, and I'm excited to share what I already know that I can't yet. But there's definitely some good stuff in the works. So
all right,
between that and V4 and mainnet and whatever,
dude,
I'm stoked, So I bought the dip today. We talked about that in the green room a little bit before.
Hell yeah.
So check out the TA tweets that I'm doing. I just posted one during our stream, actually. So things are looking spicy. But thanks, Maddie, as always, for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Guys, always a pleasure. So
goodbye.
Good night. See you guys.
See you later, buddy. We're ready.
There was one stream I caught with RG3 and Westcott Crypto, and Westcott, he said, he heard of Hex because of Richard's clothing, and because somebody recommended it to him who was in crypto. But then he went on to say the real deal maker for him was being able to see how many people in the community got retired from Hex already. He said that was the thing that really got him interested in investing in this crypto more than others. And sure enough, now he's investing his talents in the community, and that's something we see. When people show up, and they learn, right? They get impressed by all of us here who are doing our part to volunteer. Then they realize it's something special and they want to contribute themselves. And so it goes beyond just money when we have people coming together who share creative interests, who are, immediately able to go out and collaborate with others and bring their skill set. I guess he's gone viral with content that he's made like in other areas of his life from time to time, it sounded like. And so now he's able to come and punch hard for our team right away.
Yeah, Westcott's pretty cool. I like him.
And he said he's going to Miami publicly, so that's exciting. Yeah.
$10 says he dresses up as a character.
Yeah.
He'll probably make another music video at the conference.
That'd be very cool.
Edit it and launch it later. That's awesome. Let's see. I don't know if I have any other. I think I kind of got all my points out. I don't think I have anything else to really bring up.
I guess we could see how the survey is doing now that we're wrapping up. What's that?
Go ahead, Bruce. You were saying something?
No.
No, I would say I've been doing. I'm coming up on week 5 of my DCA weekly DCA fantasy league. Added a bunch more coins and tokens, where we're going over what dollar cost averaging from the beginning of March looks like going forward. It's producing some pretty interesting results. You know, you have to
Nice.
come tune in to see them, but every week we take a look at the top 3 and the bottom 3 tokens, and boy, if nothing else, makes you aware of DCA and you know, delaying gratification. That's for sure. Because don't forget, even if you were DCAing into Hex from the top till now, you're still up 50%. You're still up 50% if you were DCAing weekly from the top of Hex. If you had been
Nice.
DCAing from launch of Hex, you'd have, you know, depending on the amount, about $1 million. If you're somewhere like $100 a week, $150 a week, that's how much it would be worth at today's price. So
That's right.
DCA is powerful.
Everyone gotta remember DCA into PulseChain and PulseX. The first, 6 months really.
So that's like maybe like 20K going like $100 a week, and there's like in between 150 and 200 weeks and 3.5 years, something like that. I think that sounds about right to me.
All right.
I think I got my zeros right. What's 200 times 100? 20,000. All right. So that's that's a beautiful return, and it may have been achieved, with a much less stressful lifestyle than somebody who was trying to time the market. Well, guys, we got Richard Hart winning the vote for president.
Woohoo!
We had okay, so we had he got 56% of the vote for 2028, and then I'll combine that with the votes for 2036, because come on, he's only going to run once, and that we know of, and so that comes out to 67%. It's a landslide victory for the best man in crypto, now the best president of the United States. So
Russ in the chat, he's asking, what if you can't DCA more than what your TShares earn? Well, guess what, buddy? You're still DCAing.
yeah,
If you have TShares, your dollar cost averaging every day in the best way possible at a 0 cost basis. You don't even have to buy those.
I think it's a really powerful question, because it it makes you really think about, if you've been in the system for a while, like, what does that look like now? Are you going to continue to be, importing your economic energy, or are you going to start looking for other opportunities? Because, there are some people in Hex who could be earning hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars per day in yield, although they're accruing that, they can't touch it yet. And so I would say you can't count your eggs before they hatch. You can't count your chickens before they hatch. Whatever.
Well,
you get the idea.
You certainly can't eat them. Well, I guess you could.
That's right. And so, that's one factor to keep in mind, and so if you're looking at how much you're actually having come out, it might be a completely different number than the amount that you're accruing, right? And that dollar value, it's not guaranteed. It's based on adoption, and for some people, they're happy with what they've accumulated. Other people, they still want to play the game some more. And so then there's the question of like how you're going to allocate the stakes that you have coming out, maybe on a yearly basis. What are you going to do with that liquid? Are you going to restake it? Are you going to rebuy your TShares and have a continuous staking ladder? Or is your ladder going to end? And it's too late to catch back up to where you could have been if you only lived off the interest, let's say, or only lived off the airdrops, or only lived off half of the return, or only the big payday, or choose your way to segment, to account for what you've got. So yeah, it's a great question. Crispy, what do you think about that question?
I think that I think I concluded it was inevitable that I can't beat it. Right, because it depends on where you are in your own adoption cycle, right? So I'm just thinking about a couple different scenarios. Yeah, if you already have everything you need in there, then of course you're probably not looking to continue to add. But once you've got everything outside covered, right? Why wouldn't you continue to add to get the exposure, into crypto? I kind of go back and forth like that in my head, right? So I'm working, already have more coming in terms of yield than I would even DCA, right? That's the situation, right? So assuming I've already taken care of all my business outside of yeah, why wouldn't you just continue to add? Because you're going to get that asymmetrical opportunity. Now maybe it's not, maybe of course we're making a lot of assumptions that if you're doing it, Russ, right, you've already picked out what the right numbers are for you. Keep yourself straight and your family covered.
Keep dollar cost averaging until you can retire, right?
For me, I've noticed that I dollar cost averaged, I waited, then I got to have a retirement runway where I have a certain number of years that I've cashed out enough to live, like 6 months, a year and a half, whatever it is. For some people, they want it to be lots of years, depending on your age and your work opportunities and stuff like that. And but what I've found is I went back to DCAing during times when I got an airdrop and I wanted to play around with that money to say, well, I don't need to cash it out just yet, but I'm going to leave it in USDC for a little while, for a few months. I'm going to rotate it into HEX at some point. When I thought HEX was reaching its all-time lows, I was dollar cost averaging into that, even though I thought my dollar cost averaging days were over. And so that's something you could expect, is that like you might finish your DCA and then you might come back to it later on.
Can I bring up a off-topic subject?
What do you got?
I just wanted to say I really like your sign behind you, Maddie, and we're live. I noticed it today. How long have you had that?
It's been on and off. Like it was a gift from somebody, and so I've had it, for a number of months now. But I finally got to the point where I got my studio set up here with more lighting. I can't wait to show you what I have. I'm getting ready to plug in next in my background. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
And you said plugged in, so I assume it's electric.
You might assume that.
That sounds pretty fancy.
Oh yeah.
The only way you could improve that anymore, Maddie, would be to pop a hole in that wall and run the wire inside the wall. Or otherwise,
I agree that wire is trouble, and yeah, well,
not if you just shift
we'll
to
see
the
what we
left
can do
a little bit.
Yeah, but then
head.
I'm like
off center.
Yeah, then I'm off center anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not LED, right?
It's a neon sign, I believe.
It's neon, so it's a tube, right?
Yeah.
And neon is what kind of gas is that?
I don't know if it's actually neon gas.
No, but we get the idea.
But it's similar, yeah.
Hey, here's a side thing I'll tell you about. So I think I cracked this today. I've been working on the website quite a bit. I think I figured out how to give you access, um, or how to go about setting up access to go see all. I have some of them are like password protected. Remember I told you that depending on the complexity of my models, they require a login. So I figured out how to give you a login. I think I figured
Ooh,
that part out. Yeah. And along with that comes new opportunity like being able to, yeah, supply, PDF reports and exports and that type of stuff on Hexfire. So I'm pretty excited.
wow.
It's pretty geeky, but it's for me, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Right, Bruce? I can download data now, Bruce.
Hell yeah.
I'm all excited.
You're white and
I
nerdy.
know. I am.
The Weird Al.
Yeah.
Well, that transparency and that level of detail is, I think, really useful. So, shout out to you for putting that together. And people should go support you on Patreon. There's 2 different levels that people can subscribe to, and it's definitely appreciated. The link is in the description below.
Oh yeah, I definitely appreciate. Thanks, Maddie, for doing that, mentioning that. I do appreciate it. I'm having fun over there. I think I'm up to 30 people now.
Wow.
I think it's about the yeah.
That's awesome.
We keep. It is awesome. It is awesome. I'm pretty excited about it. We keep going, keep going. There's a lot of people who are very silent, Maddie. They don't talk. I have a lot of people to talk to about this.
Silent supporters.
Yeah, silent supporters, but I just mean in general, like you talk about our community. Yes, we're here talking, but there's 300,000 other people. They don't have anybody to talk to. Everybody thinks they're nuts. So unless for some reason they jumped into the chats or something and they're having the conversation, a lot of people just kind of watching,
Yeah, I would say 99% of my onboards I've never even seen in any of these chats.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
I got one of them. He's almost always in here. I saw him earlier, Yellowtail. But other than him,
Oh yeah.
there's I never see too many of my onboards in any of the chats or anything like that. So I'm just like, I know a lot of them. I know, and I do know a lot of them. I have like a Facebook group with like maybe like 50 or 60 people in there, and there's like maybe like 3 or 4 people that talk the most, and even those people I never see inside like YouTube chat rooms or Telegram or anything like that. So yeah, there's a lot of silent. There's a big silent majority.
Yeah. And probably the people following the instructions. The instructions were do not FOMO on day 1 of Hex. A lot of people did. A lot of people, they got the instructions like set it and forget it. But look at us. We're not setting and forgetting anything.
Remember, guys, Richard created Hex so he wouldn't stare at the charts every day. I don't know why I keep staring at the charts every day.
Yeah, yeah. I respect that, Bruce. I get that too. Well, Maddie, I think your point about us setting and forgetting it type stuff, right? When you find something that really works, you want to tell everybody. A lot of people feel that way, and so I mean, I only wish. I mean, think about what's happened to so many people that you know already that are in here. I only wish more people had listened to me. I only wish I was more convincing, right? Because I know people that are in their 60s who could have been involved in this, had plenty of capability and knowledge. They're trying to retire. They can't retire. So I mean, they can't pay their bills. So they're going to keep working. And so there was just such a big opportunity to do that. Anyways, I think the reason people do step forward is they want to share, they help other people be successful.
Absolutely. And I like something really struck me this week. I came across, and this is an idea that that I've stood up for a lot is like people will be misled to think that inflation is their fault. And it's not the fault of the people. People are not bad at saving. And, you know, everything we do to onboard people in crypto, it's the reason it doesn't work immediately is because people have been in a sick system. And so, you know, it's going to take more than just reaching individual people, I think. And I think reaching individual people, it's working well enough. And the price of Hex is a really good advertisement for what's going on here, as much as we like to look beyond the price. And there certainly is a lot to look at beyond the price. I think that that really we need a more like this movement will continue this idea of, you know, people rejecting inflation, people moving to a system, you know, where they realize that it's better. If crypto is not way better than fiat, then it's not going to happen right away. But once it becomes way better, like 5x better than fiat, then people will finally leave. What do you think, Briss?
It seems like the world is falling apart, crumbling all around us. It just kind of seems to me like, I don't know, just seems like everything else is falling apart at such a dramatic level that we're going to be like, crypto is the number one play in town right now. I don't know how to really word it other than it's just like, you know, we had the life raft. We said, hey, you know, we had the Noah's Ark, and we're like, look, we're building it. Like, get on board. And then pretty soon, you know, the waters are going to start rising up, and we're going to have like $10 a gallon gasoline, and people, you know, like $20 for a 12 pack of eggs, and people are going to be like, why is the price so high? I don't get it. And yeah, you know, maybe some people will probably never get it. Some people will get left behind, but you know, that's why we're having this live stream, so people don't get left behind. That's what this is for. So yeah, so get on board, no coiners.
Like,
heck, I don't care. Buy some XRP. Just buy something.
well, you know, another super important part of the game theory of like onboarding people is allowing the price to be a good advertisement. And I think what this show does really well is to like keep OGs interested. That's half of the equation. Half of the equation of supply and demand is how much people are selling. So if we can keep people from getting scammed into other stuff, if we can keep people from getting lost in closed circle Ponzi's and distracted by the next, you know, inflationary thing that is no good for people, that doesn't have the same ethics or values of the community, you know, that people are really here for. It's it seems like a really positive thing. I don't know how many brand new people are coming to this stream because it's so technical, but I know that a lot of people, they keep believing and they want to keep participating longer and longer because they have somewhere to go to get more advanced knowledge.
I think this stream's like the number 2 stream, right? In the Hex world, doesn't know.
What's the number 1 stream? Because we've been getting 6,000 people tuning in every week.
Is coffee? I don't know. Everybody talks about coffee, maybe because he has greater numbers.
Oh yeah. Like, this isn't the number 1 like watch stream, but it's the number 1 consistent stream that
All right.
you know,
Well, it's right up.
has
It's
the
right
best
up
watch
there at the
numbers
top.
for consistency.
Yeah, we don't need to compare, but it's right up there at the top. So yeah, I think you probably are getting new people.
Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you're new.
Crypto, I think he's new. Crypto, put a 1 in the chat, buddy.
But yeah, you know, and that's something that that will continue to grow, I think, as a Tuesday night group, and then also, you know, throughout our ecosystem. It's everybody's always trying new things and finding new ways to get people in. So
Yeah, I'll talk to you some more about demographics and stuff outside, because I'm trying to figure out, my my angle on some things. I got some good ones, I think, so far that have been playing out pretty good. I'm trying to provide service, but also coverage.
right on. Yeah. And oh, look, we got more people who I haven't always seen commenting lately. Jonathan is a name I remember from many, many, weeks and months and years in the past. Shout out to him. He watched every Coin King stream. Hell yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Awesome. Bran is in the chat. Respect everybody here. We're gonna get all sentimental if we go down this path. So
Yeah, it's all right.
cool. Well, you guys got anything else for us to cover this week, or should we play the outro music?
I think outro is pretty good.
J-Man. I just wanted to say J-Man.
All right.
Just want to say J-Man.
That's it.
So tomorrow I'm going to have that stream. I'm doing these Wednesday DCA streams, and
Sweet.
trying to attract in holders of other tokens and coins. Come look at this. So you want to come over to Hexfire IO on YouTube tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, and then I'm doing as Maddie had brought up, I've got that Patreon up. I've started testing now. I don't want to call it testing, but kind of working through the proof of concept of giving people access into data sets. So I have that out there for the silver Patreon class that's there, and that's it. Lots of good stuff coming. We're having fun.
Oh yeah. And let's see. So I've got a stream on Thursday night. If you didn't see my stream from earlier today with Steph, it's only an hour and 15 minutes, but it's definitely worth it. We talked about a lot of really cool stuff. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And stake wisely, my friends. Peace out.
Stake wisely. Peace.
Stake long, stake hard.
And harder and harder.